ね意味求め合うと悲しいね I wanna kill myself やめてよ zip it もう聞きたくないのキスを見せてって言えないよ覗き込んだって見えないよ I wanna kill myself やめてよ zip it もう聞きたくない You don't give me no say I can't control but I can't control Give me someday More can't control but I can't control 傷を舐め合うと苦しい理由違うの全部違うの重ねたところから影になってやがて腐りゆくんだ It's wrong 認めてしまうとしまいだ理解してしまう前に繋いだ後からこぼれ落ちていること And now 君の存在 You don't give me no say I can't control but I can't control I can't control but I can't
Alright then, okay, welcome back everyone to the Ocean Catch World Cup 2020, the round of 16. We're a little later than anticipated for today, but we do have some banger matches coming up later on today as well. I'm here with Andrew Secre, and my name is
Hello,
Quentin.
hello.
Welcome everyone. How are you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great. A little bit an early morning for me, 9 a.m. up in the east
9
coast
a.m.
of the USA, but doesn't stop us from getting to see some great matches between a few teams this morning. We got Portugal versus Finland going to be the first one of today. We did have a forfeit from the side of Ukraine versus Belgium. That was happening about an hour ago. A bit unfortunate, but we still got a few matches nonetheless. Going to be very exciting.
Definitely. So we'll be saying goodbye to Ukraine for now, for this year. Hope they can come back next year. And as well, this is a loser bracket match as well. So either Portugal or Finland is going to get knocked out. Seats 18 and 31 face home. I think there's a clear favorite, but Portugal did show some promising results against South Korea, in my opinion. So there might be some kind of upset potential. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I have to wonder if Finland is going to come in with the same kind of firepower that we saw last week against Germany, being the only team to kind of go against them into the tiebreaker last week. Yeah. So hopefully we can see that same kind of Finland come out, play really strong. Hopefully we can see Portugal come out, play really strong like they did against Korea, even though the scoreline was a 5-0 sweep for Korea last week against Portugal. Still has quite a bit of potential to be able to pull out a point or two, especially against Finland.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Finland saw Portugal's performance because they're immediately banning Mixed Mod 1, and that Mixed Mod map's the one that Portugal performed so well on. And then Triss apparently banned first when he wasn't supposed to ban first, but he ends up banning either one either way. So Loriar hidden taking out the shards. I think that's more than expected if you're a team that doesn't have a full hidden roster. Hidden one's your best hidden ban, because I think you can manage them into an hidden tree because they're higher rare and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Portugal picking Nomad 2 first. I think we both of us agree on the fact that that's the easiest Nomad map, so that seems like... Oh, actually, Mixed Mod 2, sorry, my apologies. But they do go for Mixed Mod, actually, which is also a reasonable choice, given their performance on Mixed Mod from last week. So I'm assuming... did Triss play Hard Rock last week, or is that someone else? Probably Triss going to be playing Hard Rock, and then Rosa on Hidden, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something
Probably
like that.
something around that line. I didn't quite get to see the match last week. I think it was at a quite early time for me. I was very happily in my bed, but this time we're awake, so at least we get to see these guys perform.
Yeah, definitely. On the other side, I mean, Jonsko and Nikolai are great spinner players, really consistent as well. I'm not sure Meet and Voy, is that a name change? Might actually be. Wait. Actually, is name change. Oh, that might be their 4-digit player from Finland, actually. Let me quickly check. Oh yeah, it is. It's their 4-digit player. He did name change. So, okay, we see. I think he didn't play last week, I'm quite certain, against Germany. But that does mean that Finland is gonna kind of take the foot off the gas just a little bit by putting someone in that hasn't played a map just yet in the tournament.
Quite possibly, but I'm assuming if he's coming in for this map that he's also quite prepared.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. There is a lot of firepower on the Finnish squad, so they can swap around their plays a lot. It's less firepower on the Portuguese squad, I believe. I think the three we're currently seeing in the room, together with like Demigod, Yogside, are the 4 main players, and then the 2 others, I'm not too certain on how many maps they can play.
Now, something that is a bit different on the side of Finland is I believe last week we had Awesome playing both of the mixed mod Hard Rock. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this week we're going to be seeing Nikolai playing on the Hard Rock instead.
Yeah, I can't confirm that, to be honest. I can't remember personally. About this map, actually, it is 2 minutes in length, so relatively short on the shorter side, 800 combo, and we see Nikolai being the first to drop, actually, so early advantage in the favor of Portugal. There's quite a lot of edge dashes in this one, some weird patterns. We see Mietenvoy and Nikolai as well drop 2 minutes coming from Finland, and that is a huge advantage for Portugal in the early stage. Hiroto trading once, so that's still a full combo on the hidden and the hard rock player on the Portuguese side. And Mietenvoy is slightly struggling, actually, surprisingly. So Triss is well dropping, so that's Rosa versus Junk, so the only 2 hidden players with the full combo. It's close to 80,000 scoring advantage for Portugal, though.
Yeah, but that's going to be slipping quite very fast away. We have Triss getting another miss. It's going to be evening out pretty soon, I'd say, considering Triss was the Hard Rock player on the side of Portugal.
It's going to hurt Portugal's score a little bit, but that's still quite a decent advantage. Take a 1 miss or 2 miss lead currently. Map is halfway in. Rosa and Jiangsu seem to be very confident with that double. It's a 2 misses coming in, actually 3 misses, but that's 2 on the Portuguese side, and that might be switching this over back to Finland.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's going to be swapping right over, as you see it swapping right now. Jonsku's still having the SS with hidden, as well as Rosa. It's a bit of a surprise to see both of the hidden players having the SS this deep into the map. Usually we'd see it as the Nomad players having strong performances, but we also see Nikolai and Triss trading misses. Mietenvoy finds a drop. It's going to possibly swing it back over to the side of Portugal. It's going to be pretty close.
Only quarter left. I think Finland's buffer is big enough, but Mietenvoy dropping is going to get the advantage of Portugal, and the map's come to an end, and this might be the first Portuguese point of this entire Cash World Cup, actually. But they can just hold on. Rosa and Jonks are still holding out to the IFC. Jonks with the double S, and I think that's going to be a double miss coming from Hiroto and Mietenvoy, but that's just a trade, and actually Portugal winning their very first point in CBLC, and this is going to ruin a lot of people's pick'ems.
Oh yeah. I think not many people expected Portugal to be able to get a point even after Finland did such a great performance last week against Germany, but hey, I think that's just more people underestimating Portugal than overestimating Finland, because Portugal, they show that they have what it takes to be able to still compete in this round, and you can see that Rosa with the FC on a hidden mixed mod.
Definitely. That's a really solid performance coming from Portugal, honestly. Rosa especially countering Jonsku perfectly. Mietenvoy and Hiroto missing quite a lot on the Nomad is surprising, because Nomad should be the easiest, but Triss kind of getting outscored by Nikolai, but that buffer, due to the many misses from Mietenvoy, is giving Portugal that point, and this is a really surprising turn of events, in my opinion. Portugal definitely being the underdog in this matchup, so great performance coming from them.
Yeah, at this point you kind of got to wonder what Finland is going to come back with as their next pick. Probably you want to stay away from Hard Rock is what I'd assume. Hidden might be an option depending on how many of the Portuguese players can play Hidden. Rosa obviously did very fantastic on that last map, but you have to wonder if there's 2 other people who can do similar types of scores.
Yeah, definitely. I think Double Time might be an option as well. Actually, we see Double Time 3 getting picked, but that's a weird pick in my opinion, because this is arguably the easiest map from the Double Time pool, so if you were going to pick Double Time, you probably offer something a little bit harder, I would assume.
Yeah, probably Double Time 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, same. I would definitely agree on that. So it's a weird, let's get a weird strategy for Finland, but we obviously don't know their scores in any Double Time map, so this might be the best option. see Rosa getting swapped out immediately. I think Demigod Yogside is definitely going to come in. He's quite a good double-time combo player. So that's also a reason why I wouldn't pick this against Portugal. This is a really weird pick, and this might backfire for Finland.
Definitely could. You have to wonder if there's also going to be any substitutions on the side of Finland. They have quite a few players that are on the bench that are still very capable of playing all these maps at a high level. You have Bob Burger, and you also have Awesome, who are able to come in and just play these maps and probably FC them very consistently.
Yeah, definitely. Seems like Finland's going to opt for the same roster, though. Not sure if the other players are they actually physically here. That might be an issue. Actually, Bob Burger is here. But the other two aren't on the tournament server yet, so they might just not be here, being assuming Curtsy, I believe. So they might only be struggling with a 4-man roster. And we see Demigod Yogside actually coming in for Hiroto instead of for Rosa. But that was to be expected, making his appearance in this match. The Finnish roster staying exactly the same. About the map, it's really short. It's 660 combo, AR 8. I believe off double times adds like 1 minute 40, 1 minute 30 even. Actually, it might even be less than that.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Really, really short, yeah. Quite jumpy, but I think most people in this lobby are going to be quite comfortable on it, so that's why I could see this being really, really close.
Yeah, the thing about this map is, even though it does have the highest star rating out of any of the double time picks, it is definitely one of the easiest, if not the easiest, double time pick of the pool, just because all the jumps in this are very telegraphed. And by that, I mean that you can be able to catch them pretty consistently. It's not like they kind of appear out of nowhere. So you're kind of getting that same feeling throughout the whole map. And as we get into the map, we're going to see Triss and Rosa finding the first misses, giving a very, very early lead to Finland. But hey, as soon as I say that, Nikolai gets the miss on the side of Finland.
Yeah, then we got the Yogside train that one for Nikolai, so early advantage for Finland indeed. And you can see that scoreboard is slowing up rapidly just because the map is so short. Midboy dropping, only Junks with an FC, only 200 coming to the map, so that's really weird in my opinion. Midboy dropping once again, and that scoreboard is decreasing. Rosa trading. A lot happening right now, already going through the halfway point of this map. So you see Demigod the Yogside finding another miss. And Nikolai and Rosa trading up top. Triss holding on, Midfoy dropping as well, but Yongshu right now being a huge difference maker for Finland. And that's a 100,000 score difference, but Midfoy dropping, Rosa trading. A lot of people struggling actually on this pick, surprisingly.
Yeah, and then on the other side we have 4 players that are kind of struggling, and then we have Triss and Yongsoo, who just said his name. Yongsoo does find that miss right before the break. They're going to see that, and they're going to see, hey, we can come back from this. If we just hold out through the rest of the map on the side of Portugal, they could possibly win this. Nobody on the side of Finland, except for Nikolai, has a decent combo. Meanwhile, Portugal, they have Triss with a huge 400 combo. That might be enough to be able to bring it back.
Yeah, the map's relatively... there's not a lot of time left, and I think Triss is finding a miss there, so that's going to... Yeah, Johnson being stuck right now, we can't really tell. Midfoy is finding a lot of misses though. Clients all over the place. I'm not sure if Porco was able to win this. I think they triple missed though. It's gonna try to find confirmation.
Yeah, we'll have to check the MP link for that when it is finished.
Finland ends up winning by 112,000 points, so definitely a strong Finnish victory in the end. I believe Triss and Demigod, Yogside, and Rosa, all 3 of them found a miss. I mean, Demigod, Yogside, and Rosa clearly struggling on this one, not able to get up to 200 combo. But on the other side, Meetenvoy actually even getting a lower score. So there was potential for Portugal, but I do believe Nurse might have gotten a little bit in their way. But this match is looking quite close, actually. Surprisingly so, because the seed difference is quite huge. And we're looking at a 1-1 scoreline, and now it's up to Portugal to find the right pick. And I think Nomad 2 could be a good idea. But they could also look for something like Heartthrob 2. I think they could get a decent cross. They could play Heartthrob 2. DT I would stay away from for now, given that problems on DT3.
Yeah. Probably would stay away from DT, like you said. I think it's a bit of a toss-up on what to pick personally. If you don't have the rest of the Finnish roster here, then you have to kind of play around Meetenvoy and what his strengths are. And at that point, possibly Nomad evens open up for Finland. But I think Nomad is probably what Portugal is probably going to go with for this pick. So it's a bit of a tough situation for both teams, honestly, at this point.
Definitely. And I believe Portugal wasn't expecting this to be this close. Not sure how they were feeling on the map pool, but I think the general public, rather, let's put it that way, we're thinking it's going to be a sweep in favor of Finland just because of their performance against Germany, and they're looking like there's potential to beat them, actually, currently. So I think that's going to give Portugal a huge morale, and it could get really dangerous for Finland.
Yeah,
let's keep in mind.
Super dangerous, super fast, like you said. All it takes is a few points to kind of get out of control. Finland themselves know how Germany felt, especially when Germany was up 3-0. All it took was just a few points, and then bam, you're at tiebreaker.
Yeah, we're just taking his time to take a pick, probably discussing with his team what to go for exactly. I would be expecting to see Nomad 1 and Nomad 2 personally. I think that's to say that.
Yeah.
Mixbot is already completely exhausted. Wise ban coming in from Finland, in my opinion. Oh, there is Miguel Yaxa. Alright. Alright, we see Noma 1 indeed getting picked. Probably some Bancho lag. Coming up, but Noma 1 getting picked. Mapped by Nosri, also known as Momo X. Or Momox, I'm not sure how to pronounce it actually. Nato Cosmica. It's a really good map in my opinion. Not too sure how to describe it. It's quite. It's not jumpy, but like jazzy type of vibe. Like.
Yeah, so this is a
right?
swing style map, I'm pretty sure is
Swing.
how you would say it. It's 110 BPM. It's mostly comprised of, I think, 1/3. I haven't actually looked in the other, see if it's 1/3 or 3/4 siders. I think it's 1/3 siders. And the big thing about this map is that it's CS5. Typically, with the Nomad 1, we'd see it being sort of more standard in the circle size area. But this time, we're going with a bit smaller circles, and that's probably what's going to be the big difficulty factor with both of these teams. Is they're usually used to playing probably about CS4, 4.2 on the Nomad 1s. Definitely not CS5. This map is a bit tricky for Nomad 1, I would say. And it provides quite a few areas for misses, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's relatively short on length, so it's not really a consistency tester in my opinion. So it's a weird Nomad 1, but I do like it a lot. I think it's a really good map. The song is also really good. And as you said, swing style, that was the word I was looking for, but I couldn't find it. We see Finland staying with the same roster. That's Portugal swapping out Rosa and swapping out Demigod Yogside as well. So Hiroto making his reappearance in Gong, making his first appearance actually. So curious to see how Portugal's going to perform on this. If they're able to consistently triple FC this, which I think Chris should be able to see, but I'm not too certain about the other two players, then this could well be a triple FC map. I think it's well within reach of player capacities at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know, we also thought the same thing about that last Double Time 3 map. We thought, you know, that was probably the easiest Double Time pick of the pool, and then we saw, I think maybe best score was like a 1 miss, if I remember correctly. So
yeah, that's also definitely true. I think that's, I would just say, you get to a certain stage in the game, your grasp of what's difficult shifts a little bit. I would put it that way.
yeah,
Like I feel like something is easy, and then apparently it isn't easy. I don't know. Just it's a weird dynamic. But I do think this should be within their reach more than DT3. But
Yeah.
we'll see how it ends up. And we see Mietenvoy actually leaving, so that probably indicates Bobberg actually rather is going to come in for his first appearance in this match, and that's a scary Finland lineup. Nikolai Johnson and Bobberg. That is, I mean, they can triple C easily, but their spin's going to be really good as well.
yeah. The big thing is the spins. I'm pretty sure all 3 members of that Finnish roster are super good at spinning. Like, probably one of the best teams in the tournament. I'd probably say at spinning. I'd say definitely top 8 in the tournament at spinning.
Yeah.
And that's something that's pretty hard to come by, especially when you're only seeded as like, I think it was 15, 16, something like that in that area.
Yeah, their spinning performances are really, really good. I think Jonsko in particular is known to be a really, really good spinner player, but I'm not sure what happened in the qualifiers for Finland. I think most people would say they would finish a little bit higher up, but either way, it seems like we have some issues with ban shows, so we'll get that resolved quickly, and then we can get going. In the meanwhile, there are banners. I believe they're still available for purchase to support your favorite team. There's 32 banners, 32 teams. Obviously, I can advertise a Belgian banner. Looks great. The other ones also look great, but just a tiny bit less great than Belgians. Well, yeah. In the OSU website, in the OSU store, you know where to find it.
Yeah, it's only $2.50 US dollars. Pretty cheap. All it takes is about one coffee in the morning.
Yeah, one coffee is already like $2.50. It's insane, actually.
Oh yeah.
We see Bob Burger making his reappearance, but then Nikolai has to put back in the server and all that. So this is probably a good time for Portugal to de-stress a little bit. I think they were relatively nervous, especially on that mixed up 2 pick. Triss complained about feeling really nervous. So as soon as you kind of settled into the match, those nerves kind of go away, and I think that's in favor of Portugal.
Yeah, I think it definitely does go in the favor of Portugal. The kind of more nerves they can get out is definitely going to be more in favor of Portugal. Remember, this is their first time competing in Country World Cup in quite a while, if at all. And Finland has been a team for years and years at this point, and they've had pretty much the same kind of core roster, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely, I believe Portugal's last appearance was 2017,
yeah,
2018, something like that. And then, if you're looking at the Finnish roster, they have a ton of experience. It's Nikolai's 6th CWC, Balberg's 7th CWC, Osumi's 4th, Percy's 5th, Jansku's 3rd, and then the 6th person's 1st, I believe. That's a new player, Ethan Boy. I mean, that's a ton of experience in that Finnish roster. And on the Portuguese roster, I believe Triss and Demigod Yogside played once in CWC, and then this is their 2nd time. So clear experience favors him towards Finland for now. And okay, we're getting started finally. So we see Nikolai, Bobberger, Jansku versus Hiroto, Triss, Gongs on Nomad 1. 1 scoreline right now. Both teams winning their pick. This pick is picked by Portugal, so assuming to see a really good performance coming from them.
yeah, like you said, I think the big thing for this map is seeing that we have Botburger coming in on the battle and then having Bittencourt as their 3rd member. Seeing 2 very early misses on the side of Portugal in the intro. Not something that you really want to see if you're a fan of the Portuguese side, but it's still very early into the map. Anything can happen.
Definitely. I believe the map is slightly less than 1,000 combos, so plenty of room for misses to be found on the Finnish side. But Gong's finding a 2nd miss is not going to in favor of Portugal. It's quite a decent lead already for Finland, with all 3 players still going up to that double list. But we get in the first slightly harder section, and we see Jansku fishing, so trading one of those misses from earlier. That's going to tighten that lead just a little bit.
Yeah, right as you say that, Gonks does find his 3rd miss on the map. Jansku does trade it back relatively quickly, so it's not going to be that much of a difference in score. But considering the combos that Gonks had when he missed, it's going to be a little bit more punishing for Gonks on the side of that.
Yeah, definitely. He's kind of struggling right now. Whilst his teammates Hiroto, after that first slip-up, is holding on to a really nice combo, and Triss still holding on to the FC. Hiroto does end up dropping, and that's going to increase that lead in favor of Finland, who still has 2 FCs, no double Fs. It's quite hard to double F this map. The droplets are in weird places, in my opinion.
Yeah.
2 turrets in, and that's quite a 20,000 score advantage in favor of Finland.
Something that is interesting, though, is that Triss, although he does have the FC, his accuracy is really, really low. It doesn't really matter much in terms of score. It's probably only about a handful of like a few hundred points. But it is still pretty interesting to see how low his accuracy is. Maybe he's just ignoring the droplets for the most part, which is honestly fair play at this point because these droplets are really painful to hit. But we are seeing quite a few more misses on the side of Finland here. Bobberger and Jongsu finding a few misses in that part. Gongs and Hiroto finding misses on the same part.
Yeah, it's Triss versus Nikolai right now to bring back that FC. I believe Finland has this wrapped up right now. That score difference is way too huge. The misses from Gongs all over the map. and Hiroto as well are probably going to be the difference maker in this one. But Triss, beautiful FC coming in from him, and same for Nikolai. Yeah. So that is quite two really nice scores. Bobber and Jansku find a couple of misses though, so there was some opportunities for Portugal, but sadly they were not able to convert them into a winning point. So that's the first break point in the match, and Finland to pick next. And they go Nomad 2 immediately. That is a really, really quick pick.
Oh, yeah.
The Nomad 2 is Time to Air, map by Ascendance. I believe it's a custom map. It's 153 in length, so really relatively short. And I believe the R is on the, I believe it's air 9.3, but it feels a little bit lower in my opinion. It's quite a slow map, and it's easy to creep up on some of the streamy sections.
Yeah, some of the map is pretty dense, so having it even at AR 9.3 sometimes feels a bit slow, even though it's not that slow. It's kind of a visual thing where it's like there's so many nodes on the screen. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like you said, this is a custom map. All the specifics this round, except for the Hidden 2 map, I believe. The Crowley Overdose is a custom map this round.
Yeah, I do believe it as well. Some really beautiful custom maps made by our custom mappers.
Oh yeah.
I believe Meetenvoy is going to be actually, never mind, he's not going to be joining for this one. So the rosters stay the exact same, and that is in favor of Finland, given their performance on the Nomad 1. I do believe Triss is going to be able to see this one as well. So there might be some opportunities. Really good song, this one, as well, to add on to that.
These maps are quite a bit different in their style, and as you say, Triss is going to have to see that he does find the first miss of the map right in the first 20 combo. A bit unfortunate on the side there, but still plenty of time for anything to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Gongs and Hiroto seem to be quite comfortable in these early stages, so that's promising for Portugal. Only a slight advantage for Finland. 20 combo misses, probably not going to matter in the end, unless Finland is going to triple SC.
Gongs does find a few misses on that hyperchain section right there. Very easy to get caught out and miss one, and then you just miss like 10 because of you missing one.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to give a 60,000 to 70,000 point advantage in favor of Finland, so 1.2 misses, one could say. But the map's relatively short, so Portugal has to see some misses coming in from Finland if they want to have a chance at winning this point. But Gongs dropping is not going to help them whatsoever.
Going to the break, everybody on the side of Finland knows that they have all SSs. They're feeling pretty comfortable going forward to this map. They know that if they don't miss, they pretty much win.
Yeah, definitely. Portugal on the other side saw the fact that they were losing, and Hiroto's missing at the end there, at the end of that streamy section rather. And that's going to be a 150,000 sport advantage in favor of Finland, and only 1/4 of the map left. So this is not looking too bright for Portugal right now.
Yeah, we do see Triss recovering pretty well from that first early miss, although it's not going to be enough to be able to bring his team to victory. He does find a miss on this far jump section. Bob Burger does get the first misses on the side of Finland. If we didn't have no fail, I'm pretty sure he would have failed, but even then, we do have no fail, so it doesn't matter in the end. Still going to be only misses for the side of Finland. They're going to win that one pretty convincingly by almost 300,000 points.
Yeah, 3 million score in a no-map map indicates always a good performance, and that's definitely a good performance coming from Finland. 2 double S's on their side. On the other side, Portugal had 2 people getting over 900,000 points, so that's definitely still a really good performance, but Finland just a little bit better on this one. So 3-1 scoreline, Portugal to pick next. No more no-mod specifics and no more mixed mods, so they have to look for something else now.
Yeah, at this point you got to wonder if we're going to ever see the Hidden Pool coming out. Hidden Pool is probably one of the more polarizing pools in this round, and that could be possibly where we see some point differentials. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that Portugal's not going to want. Never mind. Okay, I'm going to take back what I was going to say. Portugal does end up picking Hidden. That is somewhat surprising in my opinion, but I'm curious to see how they perform on this one. Rosa seemed to be a really consistent Hidden player on that Mix-Up 2 rather. So Triss, I believe, just should be able to play this quite well, but I'm kind of afraid to see a third Hidden player from Portugal, but we'll see. On the other side, we see Nikolai Bobber and Jansku staying in. for now.
Yeah, I do agree with you that it is a bit of a tough pick, but realistically, I don't know if there's really any good pick that people had left after being what Finland was able to do a no mod, no more mods left. So maybe this is just the best of the worst kind of situation with the remaining picks.
That could definitely be the case, yeah. We see Demigod Yogside. Actually, I forgot the fact that he played Hidden double time, so might be quite confident on Hidden, otherwise you're not going to play Hidden double time with AR8 covered, in my opinion. So that does seem to be quite an alright Hidden roster on the Portuguese side.
Yeah, the good thing about this map is that it is AR 9.3, it's not a low AR map. So that means it is probably a lot more comfortable for these players to be able to get consistent scores on, consistent combos.
Yeah, definitely. On the other side, sadly, is a really, really strong Hidden roster as well. Oddburger, Jonsku, and Nikolai, 3 of them can play Hidden really, really well. So that's scary, but if you're Portugal, you have to focus on your own right now. Yeah. Kind of on the back foot, you have to pick what you're strong at, don't care about what they're strong at, and just try to focus as much as you can. And there were possibilities, and I still think there are going to be possibilities, but Finland's kind of team that's not going to give you a lot of possibilities, so you have to capitalize on those, definitely. Anima is a really great song, though, so that does help in playing. We see Hidden 3 coming up. Big by Portugal. Demigod Yogside, Tris, Rosa versus Bob Burger, Nikolai, and Jonsku. Curious to see if Rosa can keep up that. Wait, actually, never mind. They played double time 3, so they're not at that 100% FC rate in this match.
Got the 100% hidden FC rate, though.
Yes, that's good enough. Hidden double time, so. But it's good enough, definitely.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. Only hidden, how about that? You don't care about the double time.
No, we don't. But that's too early miss coming from Portugal, and it's going to give the only advance over to Finland. Bobberg trades 1 with Demigod Yogside, but this map is really stream heavy, and some of these are really awkward, so we see Demigod Yogside, so I did start with 5 misses, everyone missing, complete reset actually, and Bobberg is struggling way more than anticipated, but Demigod Yogside keeps on trading those misses, and Rosa actually finding 1 more as well, so the advance is still in favor of Finland.
Yeah, at this point we're getting so many misses, I don't know if you could be able to keep up with them if you tried to call them all by one, honestly. But as soon as I say that, we are getting to a bit more of a stable situation here. We have Finland up about 150,000 points after all the scores settle, which is quite a big gap, especially considering the song is only 1 minute 52 seconds. So it's going to be quite hard for Portugal to come back. We see another miss from Rosa. It's not going to help their situation that much. But that is definitely going to help their situation. Bobberger and Nikolai finding 2 misses on that little stack section.
Yeah, but the double is coming from Portugal as well. Bobber's really struggling in this surprise. Rosa and Demigod Yogside missing once again. Only Jonsku right now. Jonsku's score is way above everyone else in this lobby. That's going to be the difference maker for Finland. And Bobberger missing once more. Nikolai missing once more. There's so many misses on both sides, surprisingly. Triss is doing his best. Rosa's not that far behind Triss, actually, but Jonsku's 70,000 score above everyone else in this lobby, and that's just so huge for Finland.
Yeah, and even though it didn't work out for Portugal in the end, I think this was a pretty good pick on their side, if I'm being honest. They did lose by 160,000, but Finland definitely showed that they had a bit of weakness on this one compared to the other maps, I would say.
Yeah, this was honestly, in my opinion, a surprising performance from both teams. I think Portugal played really, really well. I think their hidden play, Demigod Yogside, was slightly struggling, and if they were able to keep to have someone that's a little bit more consistent in that third spot, they could definitely have taken this point. Finland, on the other hand, they seem to be struggling quite a lot on convert hidden for now, and that's going to be a weakness if they were to continue to like a later stage of the tournament. We see double time 1 getting picked immediately by Finland, and that's a smart pick in my opinion. I would have in double time 1 and double time 2, both of them seem perfect picks for Finland.
I would have thought that Double Time 2 would have been a better pick. Personally, I think Double Time 1 is quite a bit easier than Double Time 2. And I think if you're trying to get a finishing point versus Portugal, you kind of want to go with the harder map. But this one is also going to be filling that same kind of shoes, if you see what I mean by that.
That's a great pun.
Well, it wasn't even intentional until I looked at the song name and realized what I was about to say.
That was really well done. About the map, it's CS 4.3, Era 8.3, and then double time is added, obviously. The map is quite, well, I always pronounce it as wide. I can feel that there's a lot of jumps in it, and it's easy to underdash or overdash, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
something to watch out. But I feel like most top players should be able to FC this. But we'll see how these teams do on this one. We see Meat and Void making his comeback once again, and we see Hiroto playing a double time instead of Rosa for this one. So then we got Yogsai, Triss, and Hiroto versus Nikolai, Meat and Void, and Jonsku. Honestly, the Portuguese roster doesn't look bad whatsoever. Then we got Yogsai, is a really good double time player, and Triss has been performing on a decent level in this match, in my opinion. Definitely taking up his role as captain and carry for Portugal.
Yeah, seeing Meat and Void come back in is a bit of a shock. He didn't have the best of performances on the earlier maps, but I think seeing how Bobberger performed on the last map as well, given that it was a bit of an uncharacteristic, not that great of a performance, maybe he's feeling that Meat and Void could be able to do better than him. We'll have to see.
Definitely. We see early was coming from Demigod Yogsai, but Finland also won that spinner by quite a lot, actually, even for such a tiny spinner. And Meatfoy finding a miss is going to give the early advantage in favor of Portugal, actually. So 4 players above 200, 5 players above 200 comma. Meatfoy dropping once again. That is really good for Portugal.
Yeah, everybody on the side of Portugal is holding very strong, except for that miss right there by Demigod Yogsai. It's not going to be that much of a changer. Going to see it more even out. That one's going to be the changer, though.
Yeah, if Triss and Hiroto can keep holding on, I think it might actually switch in favor of Finland. Yeah, it definitely is going to be switching in favor of Finland. But the map's only halfway, so there's still plenty of room for Finland to catch any misses. But Portugal does need a miss coming from Finland. And in fact, okay, Meatfoy and Demigod Yogsai are trading misses, so that's going to stabilize. But Nikolai, Jonsku, Hiroto, and Triss are holding on to a 550 combo and a full combo right now.
There's going to be 2 more misses on the side of Portugal, only 1 more on the side of Finland. That's going to hurt their chances quite a bit. I think the score is going to go about 100,000 points in favor, but that's going to change it slightly. Meat and Void finding another miss, Demigod trading it right back instantly. Everything's about going to be the same, 100,000-ish point lead on the side of Finland. Map is closing out pretty fast. Triss still having the FC, and it's gone. See 2 FCs, 2 SSs on the side of Finland with the Nikolai and Jonsku.
Yeah, really strong performance coming from Jonsku and Nikolai, carrying Meatavoy for this one, but that's... they have this wrapped up. This is about a 150,000 score difference, but definitely, once again, there was some leeway given by Finland, I believe. There was some opportunities for Portugal. Sadly, we're not able to convert, but then again, really solid. Only 1 miss on Triss, 3 misses on Hiroto. Those are really good scores. 40 misses on Demigod Yogsai. Perhaps slightly feeling a little bit nervous, but then again, 800,000 score is not bad whatsoever. On the other side, Meatavoy with 7 misses, but those 2 doubles coming from Finland is just a huge difference make for them, and it's going to be a 5 match points for Finland rather, and Portugal's tournament life is on the line here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it in mind, but it's their pick, so the perfect opportunity to get another point on the board.
Yeah, you kind of got to wonder what they're going to be going with now. Maybe they touch the Hard Rock pool, considering the Hard Rock pool has been completely untouched at this point. Everything else has been kind of Finland favored, except for the mixed mod, which obviously we don't have any more of those left. Yep, and there we go. Straight into Hard Rock 2.
Hard Rock 2, that's a perfect pick. I think both of us agree on that one. That's a perfect pick.
For sure.
So Portugal are facing elimination from the tournament in 25 to 32nd place if they were to lose this map. So quite a lot at stake for them. On the other side, Finland are looking at 5 match points and a place in the top 24. After this, actually, let me quickly check who is their next opponent for either of these teams if they were to win. It would be the loser of Chile versus Australia. So still, those are 2 really scary teams. So the winner of this match is going to be facing a really scary team next week. So that's going to be
definitely possible for the winner of this match to be able to play against the loser of that match, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. But not an easy task out of them. But definitely,
Oh, yeah.
let's first focus on this match, obviously.
Yep.
About the map, it's custom made by Bunray. AR10 obviously after Hog is added. It's slightly less than 2 minutes in length. It's relatively comfortable in my opinion. I think most players will feel comfortable. There's a couple of rough patterns though, especially the ending is kind of memory.
Yeah.
Hoping the players did memorize that ending part because it's easy to trip up there.
This map is typically going to be sort of a FC map if you can consistently read hidden until there's one really awkward pattern, if I remember correctly, at like 650 I think it was. I'm not completely sure. I think the number was 654. Could be wrong on that, but it is somewhere towards the end of the map where there's a bit of a farther note due to what Hard Rock creates. That's also one of the Hard Rock patterns right there, that stream being slightly off.
Yeah, he wrote us right wiggling, but then this is a hyperdive, sadly. But Meatboy is going to trade that, so that's going to be in favor of Portugal, actually. The double miss coming from Portugal is going to cancel that miss from Meatboy out, and that's going to give the advantage over to Finland.
Yeah, like you said, this map is also very, very possible to see last-minute swings on, considering the ending of this map is really, really painful for Hard Rock AR10. It's kind of like a toss-up on which direction do you go, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. We see Bitcoin might miss, but Gongas and Hiroto are also finding miss. And Johnstone Nikolai once again that duo on the Finnish side looking really, really strong. Twist on the other hand, countering them, and Johnstone dropping. That's going to give some leeway towards Portugal. But they need one more miss, I believe. I believe they need Nikolai to miss.
It's going to be really close. I think it's going to even out here, honestly. It's going to be super close, within probably 10 to 15k points, but that's going to definitely push it over. Johnstone finding another miss.
Yeah, the weird combo pattern is coming up, 654 as you said, but Gongas dropping is actually is going to be in favor of Portugal right now.
Yeah.
And everyone hitting
First
that
hit the first one, I think there's one more right after it, somewhere around here.
2 misses coming from Hiroto and Mitavo, but that's going to do nothing in favor of change the scoreline right now. But Gongas drop is going to give you advantage to Finland.
And this ending over here is going to be really tight. It's so possible to see a last-minute switch here. Gongs, everybody on the side of Finland except for Nikolai holding. Oh, it was so close.
I believe if Gongs would have hit, actually that's 24,000 points still in difference. It's slightly in favor of Finland, but Nikolai and Tris, both of them have seen, but we see quite a lot of people struggling on this. Mittenvoy especially only getting ready for 850,000 points. But, that was really close until the end, actually. Really nicely played by Portugal, but sadly, they will be eliminated from the US World Cup 2022, and Finland will be going into the next round. But Finland, I don't know. I think they have some talking to do, because I do believe that their performance versus Germany from last week was way more dominant than this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Not sure if it is the map pool being too hard or something else, but I think the loser of Chile, Australia, is looking at this and they are getting relatively confident. Here are your wins once again. Finland, Asum, Kersey. We didn't see them this match, but we did see Nikolai Bodberg, Johnson, and Mittenvoy well to miss, but he name changed, I believe, this week or something.
Yeah.
So Finland will be going on to the quarterfinals loser bracket.
Yeah, at least for the side of Portugal, you can see this as kind of a W in their eyes. They got a point. I don't think that's what anyone expected them to be able to do. I think getting a point at this rate is pretty much a dub for the side of Portugal. They're probably feeling pretty good about themselves that they even got a point, considering they were the 31st seed, I think.
Yeah, they were, yeah. And that Hard Rock 2 performance was really close as well. That could have been theirs as well. A lot to take away for Portugal for this year's CWC, I believe. I think Tris has finally found a squad that he can build on, and he can come back stronger next year, definitely. Portugal is one of those countries that is rising through the rankings, such as, for example, Argentina, which we'll be seeing in 80 minutes from now. But once again, huge congratulations to Finland, but also huge congratulations to Portugal for what they've shown us. And I do believe a lot of people are going to remember that mixed match against South Korea, and obviously the mixed match against Finland, their very first point in, I believe, Portuguese CDC history. So we were here; they made history today.
Oh yeah, and I think Mixmod showing that they had a good performance on Mixmod is one of the bigger things to think about. Is that means they have 3 players who are consistent at pretty much everything, and all they have to do is build around those 3 players with the Hidden, the Hard Rock, and the Nomad, and then they could get a strong core pretty fast building off of that.
Definitely. So a lot of takeaway from Portugal. But continuing forward, we see Malaysia versus Argentina, which will be starting about 17 minutes, and this is one's going to lose a bracket match. So either Malaysia or Argentina are going to be knocked out in the round of 16, which is something really terrifying to think about, in my opinion. That such, well, I think CWC history, in my opinion, are going to be knocked out this early, but that is how it is, sadly. I think we'll be taking a small commentary break. I think the stream is going to stay up for 17 minutes, and then we'll be back in about 17 minutes from now.
Yeah.
All right, and everyone, do grab yourself some CBC foods, and be sure to tune in 17 minutes from now for a really huge loser bracket match once again. And after that, I believe the clash between European Titans, France and Italy, one of the most hyped up matches for this weekend, definitely. So a lot to look forward to for the rest of today. All right, Thank you for coming this one, me, Sakura, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you guys later, so definitely do take care.
when I might go rip up the booth.
Force.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Had a little bit of a 15-minute break, but both me and Quinton are going to be joining you for the next match of the day, Malaysia versus Argentina. What do you think about this one, Quinton?
Yeah, I think this one is looking really, really scary in my opinion. I think both these countries have a really rich CBC history, and I think that if all 6 players are present for both countries, it's going to be quite a hype match. Argentina losing against Singapore last week, and I believe Malaysia lost against Indonesia, which Indonesia is a really, really strong team as well. So both these teams have something to prove in this one, and I mean it's a loser bracket match, so one of these two are getting knocked out, and I can't imagine Malaysia or Argentina getting knocked out at this stage. That sounds really surprising, let's put it that way.
Yeah, typically when you see both Argentina and Malaysia, usually they'd be teams that are advancing to the quarterfinals, whether it's in winner bracket or losers bracket. But seeing at least one of them having to get knocked out in the round of 16, really surprising this year.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that's the beauty and the scariness of qualifiers.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, we'll see how it ends up. I think if I had to predict one team winning, I think Argentina has the advantage because they have 3 two-digit players, but that is if all of them are here. Whilst Malaysia is more of a, well, yeah, they don't really have one standout player, but I think collectively as a team they can definitely put out really good scores as well. But we'll see how it ends up. I think my pick'ems are 6-2 for Argentina, but we'll see. I can definitely see Malaysia because also let's keep in mind it's really early for Argentina. I believe it's like 10 a.m. or something, and that's always, I think that's an advantage for Malaysia. Playing later on the days most of the time is better for most players. We see Astro Loki winning a roll with 96, which is a really huge roll actually. So we're going to see Argentina's ban first. I'm not sure where they want to be banning. I think it's going to be hidden. I think Malaysia's strong suit is definitely hidden, so we'll see.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Hidden 1 ban coming out this week. I think Hidden 1 is probably going to be one of the most banned maps of this week, just because, you know, L'Oreal Hidden, that's how it is. Even though the map itself is pretty on point, I'd say, for this round's difficulty, it's definitely just a skill set that not as many players have, and just kind of, if you're against a strong hidden team, you just want to get out of the way, because it's probably going to be a loss for you guys if you can't play it. Meanwhile, on the other maps, you can kind of keep up if you get lucky, but if you can't play L'Oreal, you just can't play it. So
yeah, there it is. There we go. I think the map itself is really beautiful. Sad to see it getting banned because I really enjoy playing it myself as well. But as you said, L'Oreal Hidden, it's a hit or miss. There's nothing in between. You can't just luck your way into a 1 miss or a 2 miss. No, it's either 0 miss or 1 miss, or it's 40 misses. That's just L'Oreal Hidden. We see Double Time 2 getting banned by Malaysia. I think that's also a really good ban for Malaysia. Double Time 2, in my opinion, by far the hardest map in Double Time pool. So getting that one taken away from Argentina, which seems to be quite a strong Double Time team, is a really good idea.
yeah, I think Double Time 2 is probably the most favored Double Time for the side of Argentina. It's probably going to be one of the better maps for Story, aka Saikai. He's much better on the harder stuff, and Double Time 2 is quite a bit denser than all the other maps, so it is a bit harder for the mechanics and reading as well. Even though it's like CS 3.5, something like that, it's very hard with the reading because everything is so tight together that it gets harder instead of easier.
Yeah, it is a platter, but it's a really, really rough platter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But we're waiting for actually a hidden trick getting picked immediately by Malaysia. We saw it in the last match, and there were quite a lot of misses on it. So if your team doesn't have 3 consistent hidden players, we could see that once again. I think Malaysia is somewhat favored on hidden for now. They do have Saikai, which are, I mean, probably top 3, top 4 hidden players in the world, especially in like later pools. But obviously still only around the 16th, so this might be choke territory for Saikai. But we'll see how and who plays for Argentina. That's even a bigger question mark for me currently.
Yeah, seeing who this third member on the side of Argentina will be is kind of going to set the tone of this match, I think. And we actually do see Narcs in the lobby. He is on the side of Malaysia. So I'm assuming that's going to be actually Argentina's third member. Narcs is part of Argentina. It's just on the wrong side of the screen right now.
Yeah, that's Narcs making his first appearance in the OC Catch World Cup and his first appearance in any OC Catch World Cup as well. So that is obviously, I think, one of the most promising players that are new to the World Cup this year. So really good to finally see him here on the stage. But I can remember my very first map in the World Cup, and it didn't go well. So this might be something Argentina has to think about, because that very first map, you're going to be really, really nervous.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be a bit more nervous than usual, but hoping for the side of all the players involved that they don't feel as many nerves. They can at least keep together a little bit, but you always got to get over that little bump when you first start.
Yeah, definitely. We see Sir Gonza, Saika, and Nox. I mean, the Argentina trio coming in for, well, Argentina, and on the other side, also lucky the ETNL, Ricky, and Murat attack. So that's a really solid hidden roster in Malaysia as well. So this one is going to be relatively close, I believe. I'm curious to see how well Narx is going to be playing on this map in particular, but also just in general. And I'm not too familiar with Sir Gonza's hidden skills either. So, but Malaysia's first pick, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think this is also kind of the map where you can test out sort of hidden skill versus just general skill, because this map has a lot of general skill patterns in which you need to actually hit a certain base in your skill level to be able to hit the patterns themselves even without hidden. So maybe we're seeing some of that come on the side of Argentina, where they're generally better at these types of patterns. We're going to see the first miss coming from DTNL Ricky.
Yeah, Sir Gonza trading that though, but then Ricky missing once again is going to give an early advantage for Argentina, but Saika dropping. We see a lot of early miss on this. These streams are kind of rough. Murder deck also triple miss coming from Malaysia. Only Narx, one player that hasn't played a CVC map, is the only one I've seen currently. That's huge from him. Saika dropping once more, but it's already 1,000 score advantage in favor of Argentina.
Yeah, score gap is going to get slightly smaller as we see that score from Saikai's latest miss sort of get recouped on the side of Malaysia. But everybody coming into this sort of middling part, very strong. Everybody has a combo over 200. At this point, we're kind of just waiting for more misses if we get any more.
Definitely, we saw in the last match. At this part, it's relatively easy, but then also Rocky and Dito and Ricky are missing, and that's going to give a huge advantage in favor of Argentina. Sorry, it's missing. Actually, double miss coming from Argentina and only single miss coming from Ricky. So, Murder attack versus Story on the bottom side right now. 50,000 score difference between these two teams. Lucky dropping once more, so not going to help Malaysia. And only 1 quarter left. Sir Gonza ends up trading, but that's just really huge buffer Argentina has built.
Yeah, we do see some really huge combos on the side of Murder Attack and Saikai, building it back quite strongly in this second half of the map. Going to see more misses from Loki and Ricky at the end, but it's just going to seal the deal with about a 200,000 point lead in favor of Argentina taking the first breakpoint.
Yeah, 2.8 million on this score, on this map rather, is a really good team score. And Narx being the MVP with slightly outscoring Murder Attack on the Malaysian side. And that is a banger performance coming in for his very first CVC map. I'm honestly really amazed by Narx currently. 7 misses on the Argentinian side, but that's 34 misses on the Malaysian side. So Malaysia kind of struggling a little bit more than they probably anticipated on this one. But only a 1 breakpoint disadvantage for them right now. So 1-0 in favor of Argentina, and they're to pick next, and I'm assuming they're going to wrap into that. So actually, never mind. No Matu. That's a somewhat weird pick in my opinion, but could work out. So time to our sentence. We already saw it in the last match as well. A double FC coming from them. I assume at least 2 FCs coming from Argentina in this one as well.
Yeah, and this is the kind of map that honestly I expect Malaysia to go with on their next pick. I think this is definitely the easier remaining Nomad of the pool. So it's very possible that we see a lot of FCs on this one coming out. I believe we had 2 FCs on the side of Finland and a choke at the very end in our last match.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So that's why I was a little surprised when I saw Argentina pick this. But yeah, they're probably the reasons. I would have personally probably went for hard 3 or double time 1. I think Argentina is heavily favored on those type of maps, but we'll see. We see Narx actually leaving the lobby, so that might be actually Ryu dropping in instead of Narx. It's just also surprising to me. So Argentina switching things up just a little bit, whilst Malaysia just has their 3 players staying in. Actually, Lute's coming in instead of Ricky.
So seeing 2 member swaps, 1 for each team. It's going to remain pretty similar, I think. The scores and possibly the outcome from the last match. I think Argentina is definitely a bit favored on the Nomad, but it could definitely go either way. I think the score gap's going to be a bit less than the last map, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I just thought about might be like counterintuitive picking, as in we're gonna pick what they want to pick. So in like 3 or 4 maps, they have nothing left to pick, which could work out. I've never tried it myself, but it could be a strategy.
Possibly.
Or they just feel really confident on this. That might also be the case. About the map, it's 1 minute 53 in length. It's a little less than 900 combo, if I'm not mistaken. Air 9.3, but it's quite high CS, so it feels quite dense and a little slower. So it's easy to trip up on some of the streams. And Rio being the first to drop, so early advance in favor of Malaysia.
Yeah, the big thing is that miss was before 200 combo. Mura Attack is going to find the second miss right about 190 combo, so it's not completely at the score combo cap, but Riri does find a miss right in this slow section coming into the next sort of bursty part.
Loot and Astroloki and Surganza and Saika still holding on to NFC. Saika and, well, actually no SSs to be seen on the Malaysian side. Surganza the only one with an SS on the Argentine side. But he ends up dropping as soon as they say that, though, so that's going to increase its score in favor of Malaysia, all three above 200 combo. So it's capitalizing to the fulls right now, but Loot ends up training that miss from Surganza from a little earlier halfway through the map. But Malaysia can see they're in front, and that's going to give them a huge morale boost, I do believe, or some nerfs, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think for the side of Malaysia, it's going to probably be a bit of a morale boost. These players have been here for quite a long time as a team. Mirrored Attack especially has been here for quite a few years. Riri does get a miss in this sort of bursty part right before the chorus. That's not going to help the side of Malaysia, of Argentina. Mirrored Attack and Loot do find 2 misses right there. That's going to be really sketchy. Astro Loki finding the 3rd miss on the side of Malaysia is going to flip right into the side of Argentina. Oh, that's painful.
So unfortunate. Complete meltdown coming from Malaysia, and Saika and Surganza are just holding on, and that's going to be a huge difference maker in favor of Argentina. They need to see misses coming in from all 2 players currently Malaysia, or they are going to be losing this pick as well. And I do believe that's sadly going to be the case. Only a spinner at the end. That's going to be a 100,000 score difference, but that's so unfortunate for Malaysia because they had such a huge advantage, but then all 3 of them missing in that little rough section right off the halfway mark, and that's going to be a second point for Argentina, but this one was really, really close, as we already anticipated, actually. And Saika with the FC, so beautiful score coming from him. Surganza with a 1 miss, but sadly for Malaysia, 2-0 scoreline. So Argentina ends up confirming their breakpoint, which is really good. Every time you get a breakpoint, you want to confirm it, right? You don't want the other team to break back because then you're once again in even state. And now we have this buffer, right? It creates a different dynamic in your match. You have like a buffer. If you lose 1 pick, who cares, right? Because we still have that buffer. So really good for Argentina.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a bit on the questionable side of a pick for Argentina, though. That was only about a 100,000 point gap, and Malaysia held the advantage for most of the map until they had a breakdown in the very final 30 seconds or so. So that could have been very, very bad for Argentina if they just didn't find as many misses towards the end as they did on side Malaysia.
Yeah, I also find it a little weird that they drop out Narcs when he top performed on that hidden 3 pick.
Yeah.
Right before, and I believe he's a Nomad main, right? So that's a really weird strategy by Argentina, but it ended up working in the end. So that's it. Yeah, nothing lost for them for now. I'm curious to see what Malaysia is going to be picking. I would assume they either go for Mixed Mod or Hidden 2, or actually perhaps Nomad 1, given how this Nomad 2 pick was actually quite close. Or Nomad 3. Actually, I think Malaysia is quite a good convert players. I forgot about that. So we could see. Well, I keep mentioning different maps, and I'm almost done with the entire pool. But I'm assuming I will be seeing it.
Mixed Mod 2.
Okay, Mixed Mod 2. All right. So convert, Hidden, and Mixed Mod. So it's all a combination of everything I said before. But this one, I think it's a really good pick coming from Malaysia. I think Murder Attack is definitely going to be the harder player, and then Astro Loki on Hidden, and I would assume Loot on Nomad or something like that. Well,
probably
actually,
something around those lines. Something that I'm a bit curious about is what is Argentina going to do on Mixed Mod? Now, I'd say that Saika is by far their best Hard Rock and their best Hidden player, but you can only play one, right? Yeah. So if you're gonna put him on something, it's gonna be one of those two. I'd personally put him on Hard Rock, considering Hard Rock is the more important mod, I'd say, for Mixed Mod. has the score multiplier 1.12, and it's also just typically going to be harder than hidden, especially on something that's AR 9.3 like this. So that's going to be something that we'll have to see. And yeah, we are going to see Saikai picking up that Hard Rock. Sir Gonzo's going to be on the hidden. And on the side of Malaysia, we're going to see Loot picking up the Hard Rock and Natural Loki picking up hidden, with Ricky and really being both the Nomad players.
Yeah, Argentina switching things up. I believe last week Psycho was the hidden player and Sir Gonzo with the hard rock player. So those two players switch roles.
Yeah, it'll probably depend on what the map is. I'm assuming if it's like a low AR hidden, Saikai might have to go on to that low AR hidden role. But if it's something like 9.3, I'm assuming Sir Gonzo has the confidence to be able to play something like that pretty confidently.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. All players seem to be catching the beginning, but Deals are Ricky being the first to drop, and actually 4 misses on the bottom side. Only the hidden players holding on, similar to that Finland versus Portugal match. So really weird dynamic currently, but Loot dropping once again is going to be given early advantage in favor of Argentina. And Ricky slightly struggling on the Nomad. That's not what you want to see. So Loki dropping once again, but Psyche as well. But Rio and Sir Gonzo, actually Sir Gonzo the only FC left in the room, only after 300 coming to the map. So a lot of misses on this beginning of this mixed mod map. It's a slightly slower, calmer section this, so people can build some combo. Loot above 200. Saikai dropping Loot trading immediately, and Ricky dropping as well, and Rio is not traded. So once again, 1 miss advance for Argentina. It's kind of fortunate for Malaysia. Astro Loki definitely holding on, but he needs his teammates to step up. And Loot dropping once over Saikai trading immediately. A lot of misses coming from Saikai, actually, more than I anticipated myself.
This is definitely something that you wouldn't anticipate on the side of Saikai. Saikai obviously being one of the top 10 players in the world. You usually don't expect them to be missing this much on a round of 16 map. Really does find it a limit. So Gonza finally breaks on the side of Argentina, and that's going to possibly swing some points on the side of Malaysia. It's not going to be enough. They probably need at least a few more misses on the side of Argentina to be able to swing it completely. But they are building a little bit of score at least.
They need Rio to drop. Actually, Loot is beating Saikai right now, so they only need Rio to drop it. The maps come to an end, only like 8 left, and Rio seems relatively confident right now. And he's going to be taking away the MVP, I do believe, for this one. Astrolocky dropping once more. That's going to wrap things up for Argentina. And Rio actually stepping up for Argentina. Probably their least known player, right? And he does end up only getting a 1 miss on this map. And that's going to be a 3rd point for Argentina. But Argentina, this looked shaky, rather, in my opinion. I don't think this is the performance they were anticipating. But then again, they won another breakpoint, actually. So we completely forgot this was Malaysia's pick. So that's a 3-0 scoreline for Argentina, 2 breakpoints ahead. And things are getting one-sided right now. Malaysia definitely has to step up their game and try to get 1 point on the board to then continue forward. Because a 3-0 scoring and a 2-1 scoring, for example, would be a completely different situation.
For sure. Now, I'm curious what the next pick is going to be for Argentina. You have to think that possibly it's going to be something on the bit of the harder end. I don't know if you really want to go with Hard Rock because of how Saikai played on that last Hard Rock on the mixed mod. Possibly you could say maybe he wasn't as prepared for it. We're going to be seeing DT4. I think that's I don't know. I don't think that's the best of picks that you could come in with. Malaysia has been shown that they're pretty decent on converts. And something like this where it's very movement heavy, it's kind of like asking to get kind of destroyed by a convert skill set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I somewhat agree on that, definitely. But Malaysia does seem to be struggling a little bit with nerfs, because I do believe on that mixed map there was way more in their tank, but sadly they just weren't able to convert that into actual point right now. So, but I do think double time is the right bracket for Argentina. I would have preferred somewhat a double time 1 or a double time, actually double time 3. No, not stay away from double time 3. I would have preferred double time 1, but double time 4 I think can do the case well. Air 8.5 is relatively, it's on the higher side. I think most people are still comfortable with it, but it's already getting air 9.9 if I'm not mistaken after double time is added. So that's close to hard rock territory, right? So
yeah, 8.5 goes to exactly AR10, I believe. Probably one of the two. Yeah, so as long as you can play Hard Rock and play AR 8.5 with double time, you're just getting used to catcher speed. And that's probably going to be the big thing for all the players on this map, is having the increased catcher speed on a movement map like this is really, really tricky, right? this map is so tricky with the movement, where you have to just do so tiny movements on every single note, and if you go slightly too far or slightly too short on any note, you just miss.
Yeah, I think this is a great, how would you say it, a great tester for like nerfs. I think a player with nerfs is going to be choking on this a lot, because it's a really honestly it's I wouldn't say an easy map. It's a really good map. It's really wiggle, also quite a wiggle heavy actually as well, but a lot of tiny movements, splatter control, all of those terms, and those do not pair well with nerfs. So I'm curious to see how all 6 of these players are going to be playing on this. We see Rio, Sargonza, Saikai staying in. On the other side, Astroloki, Loot, and Ricky as well. I'm surprised to not see Mirth attack on this, but might be just how they want to perform this. Sargonza being the first to drop at 40 combo shouldn't matter in the end, unless Malaysia triples FCs, and I think there's still like a lot of spinners in the map, so they might be able to even overcome that with a spinner. Actually, it's quite a huge score up though, and Rio dropping once as well, so that's going to give an early advantage in favor of Malaysia. And the early part of this map is probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like, starting from 400 combo, it gets relatively easier, I would say. So, and Rio dropping once more is not helping.
Yeah, and the fact that Malaysia is still holding triple FCs right in this, white power say that Astroloki does find the first miss for Malaysia, but it is pretty impressive. And there, honestly, there they all go. Maybe I just shouldn't have spoke, but it's a bit unfortunate. The score is going to be going right to Argentina any second now, but actually, I don't know. Rio keeps finding a few misses, and it's going to be evening out, actually.
Yeah, this could get really close, actually. Rio dropping a couple of times, but I think due to that losses from Ricky, is going to give it.
Yeah, it's going to go slightly Argentina. Very slightly, probably about 10,000, 15,000 points, I think, is going to be the difference. Once everybody reaches these 200 combos, we're going to see them all getting that flip right here. It's probably going to be at least a few more misses in this map. Ooh, only 4,000 here.
Okay, I think Rio's movement seems really shaky, so that's something to look out for, because he did miss a lot already. So if Malaysia can capitalize on those misses, I could definitely get... Actually, this is pretty much tied. I'm not sure how Argentina's not in front, because Taylor Riggs is only hitting turn combo now. Might be spinner actually, and this is getting really
yeah, Rui also had the same combo as well right there, so they were kind of gaining score at the same time. It might be a spinner diff if every team can hold, but it's going to be really hard for all these teams to hold, even though the ending is a bit easier than the rest of the map. Blue does get a miss on the side of Malaysia. That's not what you want to see if you're a Malaysian fan right now. Saikai and Rui missed though.
Okay, it's Sargonza versus Astroloki right now, but
Ricky gets another miss.
Oh, this is getting really, really close at the end. They need one more miss from Argentina to get this back, but this is way closer than I think Argentina anticipated. Getting until the end. The end is not missable if I'm not mistaken, but you know, this is really close actually. 10,000 points. Ricky dropping once, but that's going to seal the deal for Malaysia. Yeah. It's so unfortunate because there was so much potential in this map. Ends up being a 22,000 score difference, but this was really, really close. Gons with a one miss, beautiful score coming from him with 1,048 combo as well. So pretty close to an FC. That's actually pain, as Astroloki pointed out, because this was definitely a pick Malaysia could have won. Ricky at the end, slightly struggling, is going to be the difference maker for this one. But Astroloki also with a one miss. Story beating Story, who has a 2 miss. So I mean, it's been a story of almost for Malaysia in this match. I think there's a couple of points where they almost won. Nomad 2, Double Time 4 come to mind. They almost got that point, and we could have been looking at a 2-2 scoreline, which is a completely different match. But it's Malaysia's third pick coming up, but they have to win this one, you imagine. Because
they kind of have to at this point. It's going to be pretty much a do-or-die situation for Malaysia. And
but it's a
honestly,
score coming from Malaysia. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they had a really good score. It's one of those maps where you're kind of surprised that Argentina picked it, because I think it plays right into Malaysia's skill sets. And at this point, you gotta wonder, what do Malaysia go with? Personally, I think DT3 is a great pick. You just saw that Argentina is pretty weak at being consistent, especially on these early rounds. You're a team that's pretty much built on this consistency, and I think DT3, you can kind of hope that they get a few misses. You probably have to try to do your best, try to get a good score, and probably couldn't get a point on DT3, is at least my opinion.
I think there's 3 maps that come to mind. I think Hidden 2 as well, perhaps, and Nomad 3 or Nomad 4. I think those just gotta go for conference, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just stay away from statistics if you're Malaysia.
Yeah, that is exactly what I would say as well. I think probably Nomad 4 would be better than Nomad 3 and Hidden 2. That's my opinion at least. So Nomad 3 is going to be a pick. I think it's still a decent pick. It's definitely one of the better picks remaining. So you could see some good scores from this. I think this map definitely has a lot of miss potential. There's patterns that you can get very caught out on. There's one pattern towards the end that is kind of a memory pattern, not really, but if you're not prepared for it, you'll definitely miss it. And that's going to cost some teams a few misses for sure, I'd say.
Yeah, we saw Argentina somewhat struggling against Singapore on the Nomad Convert as well, so I think it's a really good pick. Plus, we get to enjoy this beautiful song. This song is so good, so I'm really happy they picked this one and not Nomad 4, because Nomad 3 song is 10 times better in my opinion. But
True,
we see
I agree.
Ryu dropping out, so I think... Actually, never mind, he's coming back. We haven't seen Karane in this match, which is also somewhat surprising in my opinion. I would have expected... Actually, we've seen Nox making his reappearance in this one. That's really a good decision in my opinion.
And that's about what you would expect, in my opinion, seeing Narcs come back in. We'd also do see Maru Attack coming back in. That's another thing that you would probably expect here. Kagari coming in on the side of Malaysia as well. Going to be a bit of a different lineup for both teams.
Yeah, Malaysia definitely going to switch things up, which is a good thing. Curious to see if they can convert this one to a point. As we said already, if they lose this one, they're looking at 6 match points and elimination. And that's... I don't think that's a bridge they can cross. That's
tough.
It's really, really tough. And I think Murder Attack, especially a really good cover player. I think Loot as well has shown us quite a decent cover skill, especially in that TT4. Played really, really well. On the other side, Saikai, Sorganzo, and Nox is a really, really, really terrifying roster to face. Do somewhat, how would you say, they do somewhat struggle with consistency, and I think this map is all about consistency, Nomad Convert consistency rather. So this could give some leeway towards Malaysia, but I wouldn't want to face Sorganzo, Saika, and Nox in like your quarterfinals or semifinals pool, because the 3 of them seem really, really scary.
For sure.
About the map, it's 4 minutes in length, or 3 minutes 40. It's really consistency based. There's a couple of some hyperdash are quite wide, so in my first run I kind of got messed up by those a couple of times, so that could happen to players as well. The rest is pure consistency based, I would say. Some streamy, heavy. Those, by the way, those tiny breaks in those patterns right after, it's easy to mess those up if you haven't practiced the map. And I believe Saikai is side reading, because he did point out he hadn't played an entire week, so that does indicate he hadn't had time to practice the maps. And Saikai and Kagari trading misses there on the very same note, so that's going to stabilize, balance things out. With Kagari dropping once more is going to give a only a slight advantage, because he only has 50 combo towards Argentina.
Yeah, this is the kind of map that I'd say you would need to play at least once, because there's quite a few jumps that are just pretty far, and even if you are one of the best players, it's like you're not going to be able to catch some of them, especially the one at the end that we will see. I think it's about like 1,200 combo or something like that. Yeah, it's just a very, very far slider pixel jump kind of pattern.
Yeah, I fully agree. You have to play this type of map at least once. Nox dropping, and that's going to be 1FC falling for Argentina once again, but Kagari trading that one, so it's still going to stabilize somewhat. Luda Murder Attack versus Sorganza currently, but Nox dropping once more. Actually, it's going to get quite tight, I do believe.
Yeah, I think it'll just about even up. It'll be maybe a few thousand-point lead for Argentina once everything is all settled, but that's still nothing that you can really take away and be like, okay, we're comfortable with this. No, you're definitely not comfortable. Loot and Kagari finding 2 misses. It's very unfortunate.
And that's going to hurt Malaysia a lot. And Saikai and Sorganza especially still got to a double S right now. Beautiful performance. 2 turns into this map, and it's, they're 2 misses ahead right now, so if at least 2 players from Argentina can hold on, they have this wrapped up. The ending is somewhat rougher, but that's also rougher for Malaysia, though, and they have to keep holding on. So, not sure if they can come back from this. 2 misses still, 1 quarter left. The song is so good, though, honestly.
It is really good. Dude getting another miss right as he was about to hit that 200 combo mark. Pretty unfortunate. The score gap's going to be about 100,000 points, and at this point, even if Argentina all hit that pattern I was talking, all missed that pattern I was talking about, and Malaysia all hit it, it's going to be quite too late into the map, I think, for them able to pull a comeback. Sir Gonza does get a miss. That's the FC down on the side of Argentina. Maybe something could happen in the final few seconds of this map.
Yeah, all eyes on Murder Deck currently with that FC, but wow, what a curse from me. My apologies, Murder Deck. Nox ends up trading. They need Psykai to drop. They need Gonza to drop. I think the map is... There's not enough time left, and that was the pattern. Everyone caught it.
That was the pattern. Everybody got it.
This is not looking bright for Malaysia. Triple miss coming across the board. 2 misses on Argentina, but they had such a huge buffer from those early misses from Kagari and Loot, and that's going to be it. And it's going to be 70,000 point difference. It's not a lot, right? It's once again almost. It's not a lot score difference, but sadly, Argentina is just a tad better, I would say, currently, or a tad less nervous, perhaps.
It's just very, very slight score differences, and that's honestly all it takes for a 5-0 scoreline like this to happen. If you're ahead by like 20,000 points in every map, hey, that's enough. You know, you don't need to win every map by 200, 300,000 points.
True, definitely true, but it's I would say the 5-0 score isn't fair to Malaysia, in my opinion, currently, because they've been playing really, really well, and they're really close to Argentina. But they're always on the other side of the coin. I think that's not the saying, but you know what I mean. Either way, 6 match points for Argentina, and they have to pick as well. So it's not looking bright for Malaysia, and they're facing elimination once again. Third team to be eliminated if they were to lose this pick. So I'm curious to see where Argentina is going to go. I would say Hard Rock 2.
Yeah,
could be...
if there is one thing, like you said, Hard Rock 2.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's probably a pretty decent pick on the side of Argentina. It's probably one of the better picks they could go with. I'm not sure if Malaysia could field 3 players who could consistently play a Hard Rock map like this. This one also has a very tricky ending, which I think will favor Argentina.
Yeah, I think this
actually
is a perfect pick. Also,
the fact that
song is cool.
That is true. The fact that story is sight reading, though, that's going to be... I don't know. I don't know if you can hit this ending with sight reading. It's really, really hard to be able to sight read this ending.
Yeah, it feels, how would you say it, like, it goes right, left, left. That's how I memorize the pattern, but it feels so counterintuitive that second right and that, like, third left, they feel so counterintuitive. So, indeed, if Saikai, I'm not 100% sure he's sight reading, but he did say he hadn't played an entire race, so I'm assuming he is. But I think Sir Gonza, for example, did practice map, so he could tell Soria, hey, sorry, it's like right, left, so he could perhaps memorize it, but I'm not entirely sure. But
even then, it's like
count forward. Yeah,
you're telling the guy it's like right, left. It's like, huh? What did you just say? You know, also it's one of those things that you truly have to just go in, see for yourself. Like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. But alright, 6 match points for Argentina. Sir Gonza, Saikai, and Narx staying the same roster on the other side. Astro Loki stepping in for Kagari for this hard work. We see 3 players equipping Hidden. Actually, we haven't talked about that, but Hidden is just purely for reading purposes. Some people prefer it. Not entirely sure why, because in my opinion it doesn't help, but for some people it does, and it does not give any score bonus. That's also something to note. The map's 800 combo in length, only 2 minutes, so relatively short. And there's one tricky pattern around 650, and the ending is really, really rough. So those are 2 things to look out for. We see Nox being the first to drop in the beginning section. So early advantage once again towards Malaysia. I believe they had the early advantage for the majority of the maps. Loot trading 1 miss from Nox, but still advantage to Malaysia.
Yeah, this advantage is very, very small. It's only like maybe 10,000 points, I think, and that advantage is gone with Astro Loki and Loot finding 2 more misses. Mirror attack the 3rd on the side of Malaysia. That's not going to be a good sign. It's really not what you want to see.
Malaysia somewhat falling under the pressure, I would say. Saikai and Sir Gonza in their hands, holding onto a double S beautifully. Plenty of room still, but that score is already 200,000 points, and it's massive because this map is so short, and Vertitech dropping once more. It's not looking bright for Malaysia right now, halfway into this harder 2 pick. And Narc stepping up after some initial miss there. And then looking like a beautiful team score coming in from Argentina currently. But we're approaching that harder part, and we might see misses coming in there.
Yeah, Story and Saikai and Astro Loki do find miss right before this bursty section, heading right into this chorus. Aslaki does get another one right at the start of the chorus. A bit unfortunate.
Earthdeck dropping once more. Quora left. Narks and Sargon still on the FC right now. Beautiful from him. And I believe there's no time left for Malaysia, sadly. Luch,
Yeah.
Earthdeck dropping once more. Let's see if
I wonder who's going to hit the ending. Wow, they actually all hit it except for Root Attack at the very end.
Yeah, that is surprising. But at
That's pretty impressive, in my
3.2
opinion.
million from Argentina. Actually, two of them do end up missing on the, well, from Malaysia
Final
rather,
little
two of them missing
slider.
on the slider. But that's a beautiful team score coming from Argentina. Beautiful see from coming from the Zaragoza. And a 6-0 scoreline for Argentina. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Malaysia this year. But honestly, I feel for Malaysia because they were really close and on multiple picks. And I would have given them the point at the very least. But sadly, that is not the case. And Argentina live to fight another day. Or I think that's a saying. My English sayings are not that great, to be honest. But either way, Argentina will be going on into the loser bracket quarterfinals, where they'll be facing off the loser of Taiwan-Mexico. So there are some really spicy matchups looking there. And then Malaysia, sadly, will be knocked out in 25th to 32nd place this year.
Yeah, and even though Malaysia did get swept, they had a pretty good performance, in my opinion. They had quite a good showing, even though all the scores went on the side of Argentina. Like we said, the scores are pretty close on almost all the maps, so huge props to the Malaysian players. They did pretty good, and all things considered.
Here are your winners for today. Argentina, Karane, Duki Modiabo. We haven't seen both of them, but Saika, Ryusur, Gonza, and Narks making his debut in the OC Catch World Cup, winning quite confidently against Malaysia. Well, confidently in the sense that it's a 6-0, but the maps are really, really close. But then again, a win is a win, and they have to just look forward for next week, because next week there's a terrifying matchup coming their way.
Yeah, and speaking of terrifying matchups, oh boy, have we got a terrifying matchup for you coming in about 23 minutes. This matchup is probably the matchup of the week. We have Seed 8 versus Seed 9, Italy versus France. Oh man, this match is going to be insane, honestly.
Yeah, European blood getting spilled for no reason whatsoever, sadly. But we see the two European titans facing off against each other. A repeat of the European Catch Cup final, but now Titobas and Natsuko are both there for France as well. So really looking forward to this one. Definitely want to check that out, because that is going to be one banger of a match.
For sure. And then just a few hours after that, we do have another match for the day coming with Canada-Russia. That one's also going to be one of the better matches, in my opinion. It's a bit later than the France-Italy match, about 3.5 hours after it, but it is still within a reasonable time span. So don't be going away for too long. We'll probably be taking a quick 20-minute break for the stream, so that way you guys can maybe go get some rest, snack, something. Go do whatever, get up, move around, you know. Maybe you have a little bit of work that you need to do over the weekend. Who knows?
FC illness, for example. There's plenty of things to do. But we'd like to thank you for watching once again. This was once again Zachary and Quentin commentating this one. And once again, be sure to do not miss France vs Italy, because you'll miss the banger of the weekend. All right, everyone, take care, and we'll see you guys in about 20 minutes from now.
pushing through my heart. Put it on the right track. Put it on the right track. Listen to my pushing through. Put it on the right track. Put it on the right track. knowledge of a horde of a land, they're gonna have a hard time to define or to find us. And I'd rather die first, start giving fake fuck silly time on my energy. Born with the knowledge of a horde of a land, they're gonna have a hard time to define or to find us. And I'd rather die first, start giving fake fuck silly time on my energy. Born with the raw, 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 with the lies of the lies of the lies of the lies of the fuck silly time on my energy.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the round of 16 for this year 2022's Oscatch World Cup. I'm JB Hyperion, joined by Seka for this upcoming match between France and Italy, two European titans for sure.
Oh yeah, when people think about European catch, these are the first two teams that come to their mind, without a doubt, honestly, at this point. France and Italy, definitely, I'd say, the most powerful European teams. On the side of Italy, we got all the 79s, Vito 79, Armor 79, Kami 79, Noza 79, Sakhalin 79, and Sir Waffle 79. On the side of France, we got T-Tobis, Electro, No Life, Boros, Hollow, and Natsuko. These guys are just so good at the game. And honestly, this is a matchup that you could see even happening in Finals Week, and honestly, possibly even Grand Finals Week. That's how strong these two teams are. And here they are facing off in the round of 16.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unlucky that one of these two has to end up in losers bracket after this week, but we've seen some teams come back from early defeats in the losers bracket to come through. I mean, you yourself have tried to finish off China in like quarterfinals on multiple occasions, only to have them rise from the dead in that finals week.
It's very hard to get rid of China completely, but this year I think they're looking a lot stronger. And we're going to be getting the first bans of this match coming in. We're going to see France banning Hard Rock 1. It's a bit surprising. And then Italy banning DT3. You know, I would have expected these bans to be, you know, swapped looking at these two teams. Before the kind of match, me and JBH were talking to ourselves, and I'm like, I think France picks Hard Rock 1. I think France is probably the better Hard Rock 1 team, and here they are banning it. They're also saying how Italy was probably the better DT team, and they're like, nope, we're banning it. So, we do see Italy coming with their first pick. Mixed Mod 1, I think this is definitely the best pick for Italy. I think Mixed Mod is just so much better for their skill sets compared to France. I think France is very good at Mixed Mod, but they don't have the same strong hidden player that I think Italy could bring out with the side of Kame. I think Kame is completely able to play something like this on hidden. It's still relatively easy enough for Kame to play a hidden. It's only AR 9. I mean, Arma's, you know that guy's gonna pop off on Hard Rock.
Yeah, as you said, Mixed Mod 1 was Italy's first pick in their round of 32 match against the Netherlands last week, as well, that being Mapletown Memories. We're going to be scaling things up quite a little bit here, though, with the round of 16 Mixed Mod Summoning 101. I'm not a Hard Rock player, but I think you will probably say, as someone who's very skilled, that this is honestly quite painful with Hard Rock, and would be quite a challenge, even for some of these players, to be performing well under tournament pressure.
Yeah, so this map is definitely harder than any of the Hard Rock maps itself with Hard Rock, and I think that's intended based on you only have one Hard Rock player for this map, and I think that's personally fine. It is CS 4.3, it's just going to go quite a bit higher with Hard Rock, I think like 5.7, something like that, and that makes it really tricky, especially at this kind of 1/3 swing or 1/3 BPM, where it's like really sparse at times and really tight with the spacings. It gets just really hard to stay consistent on this map with Hard Rock.
Yeah, as you said, only one player for Mixed Mod needs to play in Hard Rock. If you haven't seen any of the Mixed Mod performances in the World Cup this year, Mixed Mod entitles one player to play with no mod from each team, one with Hidden and one with Hard Rock. So it's a bit different from Free Mod that you might have seen in the past, where you can pick any number of mod combinations from those three on any of your players. One person must play on each individual mod.
Yeah, and so it looks like we're going to be seeing the lineup from Italy that we are probably going to see for most of the matchup. Armor 79, Kame 79, Sir Waffle 79, all on the screen right now. And on the side of France, I think this is probably the best three French players as well. You have Titovis, Boros, and Natsuko. Definitely the strong players. I think in this matchup, Boros might be the Hard Rock player. I'm not completely sure. I'd probably put Boros as the Hard Rock player. We'll have to see coming into this. Seems like the players are sorting themselves out, so that way we can see all the players kind of, symmetrical on the screen with Mixed Mod. So that way Hard Rock, and then no mod, and etc, etc, etc.
Very good of them to make it a little bit easier for us. When does it start? It starts right now. Welcome to game number 1 of this best of 11 between France and Italy.
Yeah, and something that's a bit interesting is we have Boros coming in with the Hidden. Something that usually you wouldn't see that much of. We have Titovis on the Hard Rock for the side of France. Usually when you think of Boros, you think this guy is the guy for Hard Rock for France. But he is playing Hidden this year for Mixed Mod.
Yeah, a little flexibility is a sign of a good team going forward. You don't always have to have the same kind of 3 players always playing the same maps. As we see an early miss from Armor there at about 100 combo on the Hard Rock.
Yeah, and that's going to be more painful than a no-mod miss. It is in the first about 100 combo, so it's not going to be as punishing as a full miss. But it is definitely going to be noticeable, especially between these two titans of a team that, honestly, between most of these maps, you might not see more than a few misses. And as we say that, Boros and Sir Waffle are going to be finding their first misses of the map.
Yeah, Hidden and No Mod both weighted at 1 time score multiplier, so those 2 misses effectively being equal. happening after the 200 combo mark, but Waffle missing again there before building up a significant combo. That's going to give France a bit more of an advantage as we come to about 1/3 distance.
Yeah, this is going to build up quite a bit. It's already about a 110,000 point lead, and it's going to just only get higher and higher as these combos for France stay between T-Tobus and Natsuko. T-Tobus holding the SS still with Hard Rock. Very impressive on his side. As we said, that score lap is only increasing. I think it's going to settle in at about 130,000, maybe 140,000, once Sir Waffle brings that combo back up to 200, which is the combo cap. This slow section is very sketchy for the Hard Rock players. You can see Armor79 kind of struggling with his movements because you just have to guess at where the fruit's going to go.
Yeah, just keeping your eyes glued right to the top of the screen there so you can see and notice these things exactly as they appear.
Yep. Something that is a bit interesting as well. Comet79, oh, I was just about to say he was holding Nessus, but him and Sir Waffle do find more misses. That's going to make the score gap so huge for the side of France. France coming out really, really strong. They only had that singular miss, I believe, from Boros at the start of the map at about 220 combo. Apart from that, they're just holding on so strong.
Yeah, Natsuko still with that double S on Nomad. Tobus, just with a single droplet miss, I think, has barely affected that score at all. This was Italy's first pick, don't forget. You see the blue coming out there. So
yeah.
This is going to be a very decisive opening momentum swing towards France as Cam sees a few drops there as well.
Yeah, and I think this just goes to show how strong France is on these kind of map pools this early on. Like, France is the team that, you ask who is one of the most consistent teams in the Catch World Cup on an early stage, you're probably going to say France. That's just how consistent they are, and look at that. FC from T-Tobus, FC from Natsuko, only 2 misses from Boros at probably around the same time. That's just so hard to beat. I don't know if any team is actually going to beat that team score throughout the whole weekend, honestly.
Yeah, really impressive opening start from France on a map that wasn't even their pick either, so an immediate breakpoint for France, and they get to decide what's next. We initially thought that Hard Rock was definitely going to be their go-to, but they ended up banning Hard Rock 1 first off. So it'll be interesting to see where they go next. I think fielding a team of 3 hidden players against Italy is probably, I wouldn't say risky, in that, like, Italy are a better hidden team than them, but I think both teams would kind of both favour their chances, but also not want to take the risk on hidden. But they are actually going to do hidden 3. Okay, we're just completely wrong so far this match. Surprised at every turn.
Honestly, hidden 3 I think is probably a pick that suits T-Tobus as sort of the third member for hidden, I think, on the side of France. Actually might not be even seeing him. We have Hollow coming in on the side of France, Hollow being one of the hidden members for France. I think we're probably going to be seeing Electro as the third member for France. Might not be. On the side of Italy, we're probably going to be seeing these 3 players play most of the maps. We might be able to see Noza or Sakalin come in, but no, we're actually going to get started straight away. Natsuko is going to be playing the hidden. That's something that I didn't really expect coming into this one. I would have assumed that it would have been either T-Tobus or Electro filling in for that slot.
Yeah, so no T-Tobus, no Electro. France wasting absolutely no time in continuing this match. Rapid pace as we go into game number 2. France currently leading 1-0 after that early break point.
I think this map also definitely suits Kame and Armra's skill sets for hidden quite a bit more. This map is more reliant on having just the base skill that you need with Nomad to be able to hit some of these patterns like these right here, that ones that you found Sir Waffle getting his misses on. Hollow trading it shortly after is going to be a slight advantage for Italy once all the scores even out, just to do how the combos work, but Arma and Natsuko getting 2 misses right next to each other.
Yeah, approach rate 9.3 on this one does make it a lot more accessible to some of the lower approach rate hidden stuff that we've seen in previous rounds. But some of these streams are really kind of awkwardly spaced as well, as Sir Waffle really struggling, just dashing away from some of these streams a little bit too soon.
Yeah, it's actually, if you look at Sir Waffle's movement, he's going very slow, it looks like. Natsuko gets a miss on the top side of the screen, followed up by Sir Waffle. He's just moving a bit too slow, it seems like. He's not completely having faith in his movement when he's pressing the dash button. And that's a bit unfortunate, because it is kind of costing his team many points. Armor79 and Hollow getting misses on these little stack sections. They're a bit tricky to place And that is going to be another huge miss on the side of France. 2 more misses from Hollow and Natsuko. That's possibly going to even it up here.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Armor tried to stack the first set of wiggles, missed. Tried to wiggle the second set of stacks and then missed. So in the end, he just kind of ended up doing a mixture of both.
Yeah, and Natsuko finding many, many misses in this area end of the map. It might flip over to Italy. There it is, that flip right at the last few seconds of the map. And is that going to be it? Is that going to be a point for Italy?
Waffle found consistency at the perfect time to capitalize on those mistakes from Natsuko and also a couple from Hollow as well. So Italy are going to sneak this one by about 6,500 points. We see another break point. France deciding maybe Hidden was not quite the pick they needed to go for.
Yeah, there was only 6,900 points between the two teams. We see Kame and Boros getting 2 SSs, very good scores from the both of them. The supporting cast for both teams, not the best. It seems like it was more of a who has the better second and third players on this map. Typically, you'd see also Boros, not the best of hidden players, but hey, he seems like he's doing pretty damn good so far in this round. At this point, you kind of have to wonder what is going to be the next pick for Italy. They lost their first mixed mod map, and then they got a break point on Hidden. So these teams are kind of just trading their picks. Hey, you want to win that? Okay, you can have that. I think that Double Time 2 would be the pick for Italy. I think that they're slightly favored on the more denser Double Time map, one that requires a little bit more of a skill set, but they're going to be going Hard Rock 3.
You can see some logic in this. France banning Hard Rock 1. Again, before the match, I would have thought that France were maybe slightly favoured on Hard Rock, especially with regards to the converted maps. I mean, you have players like No Life and Hollow who are just Tobus that are just excellent at convert play.
Yeah. On the side of Italy, we do see their first substitution, Vito, coming in for the side of Sir Waffle. That is definitely something that you would expect, Vito being pretty much known as the guy who hidden hard rocks every single marathon and catch pretty much. That guy,
I mean, his name was literally like Hidden Hard Rock at one point.
Yeah.
XDHR, but yeah.
If there is
a map, his forte.
If there's a map that hasn't been FC'd with Hidden Hard Rock and it's like below 6 stars and it's a marathon, you can bet that he's been playing it for quite a while and there's some weird pattern that hasn't been able to hit for probably at least months at this point. And we're not seeing any Boros on the side of France. That's something that I'm just really surprised about. This guy's
like Guy SS's a map that you weren't expecting him to do that well on, and then you sub him out straight away?
I mean,
there
even then he's
game
like
plan here.
He's contradicting all my knowledge about him. I've talked to the guy quite a bit too, and like I've always known him as the guy who's really good at Hard Rock, especially on converts like this, and he's not playing it. So
it may be that France already know what their next pick's going to be, and so he's resting and training for that.
Yeah, maybe they're going to Hidden 2 after this, I'm not sure, but I think France definitely have the players to be able to do that comfortably. We're going to be all seeing 6 SSs, Hollow actually getting the first droplet miss in the intro of the map. It's not going to matter that much, the spin is going to be what's going to decide this intro more than the droplets. Every team holding pretty strong. We actually see a bit of an advantage because Vito's dropped quite a few droplets. That's going to be a lot of droplets. Look at his ACK, it's at 99.1. That's, I think, 5 droplets, and that's what's going to be setting the big gap here on the side of France.
Yeah, as you said, like droplets on their own don't make a huge deal, and that does make a huge deal though. Kame with the first drop there at the halfway mark is going to send France back into the lead by a slightly more comfortable margin.
If you give France an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's how France are, especially on the round like this. They honestly might just end the map with only a few misses at the end because the end patterning at the very last like 5 seconds is really, really hard. I don't know how many players are going to hit it. I'd assume at least 2 are going to miss on the very ending. Vito does get another miss on the side of Italy. That's not what you want to see if you're an Italian fan. And France still holding these 3 FCs so strong right into the end of the map.
Yeah, unless we see a huge stack of misses from one or multiple France players right now, I think this one is definitely going their way, because there's not a lot left in the map available, as Vito's just building back up to that combo cap.
Yeah, here we go into this sort of very hard patterning. I think it's right here. see Tobis wiggling that. I don't know how he wiggled that. That was fast.
That is a flex and a half. Can we get this man extra points for that, please?
Yeah, true. Oh man. And
Really,
that is
really
gonna
solid
be,
performance across the board.
yeah,
there.
that's probably going to be the highest team score again on the side of France. Only Hala finding a miss at the end of the map. I don't know how you can beat that. These players are just coming in, setting probably the highest team scores that we will see across the whole weekend out of any team on this map, and their first point as well. And you gotta wonder, it's like, France, they showed up and they're not playing around. That is for sure.
I mean, Italy's score wasn't exactly bad by any stretch of the
Yeah,
imagination.
definitely.
Both of these teams have practiced a lot, and that's very obvious.
Yeah, that Italian score is probably enough to beat most of the teams that are in this round.
Oh, banger alert. No Mod 3
yeah.
coming out now. So yeah, we finally see some Nomad making an appearance. Is this what Boros was being rested for? Will we see him making a reappearance?
Possibly, but I'm a bit surprised because that last map is a bit similar to this one in the fact that the movements are very similar. I think we could see No Life coming in on something like this. No Life, probably the most experienced French player apart from Tobis on maps like this. Even might be
Yes,
more experienced than
certainly a very
Tobis.
experienced combat player.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kind of agree with what you said there, that they're both very like revolving around like high slider velocity, strong hypers into weird slider shapes as well, as we do see No Life making an appearance there.
Now these are rosters that you'd probably expect for both teams, fielding all three of their best players on something like this. Now this map, it's like, honestly, it could be a 6-way FC. That's how good these players are, especially on something like this. You don't really expect many misses on a consistency jump map like this. It's not really like the kind of traditional jumps where you go left, right at like a 120 BPM metronome. No, this is more so like, okay, you have one really far jump at 1/4 at 130 BPM. It's a much different skill set, and this skill set I think is favored for both teams, honestly. Probably a bit more so on the side of France, considering that No Life and Tobis have been playing these maps for, honestly, years at this point. Probably more than a decade's worth collectively between just the two of those players.
Yeah. Certainly longer than I've been playing the game, and I'm not exactly a new player either.
Yeah. At this point, you're just as ancient as they are, honestly. If there is anything to watch out for this map, it is the ending spin. I believe the ending spin is a bit troublesome. Actually, that's 3 misses on that farther jump right there. It's going to be 1 miss advantage for the side of France. Paula does find another miss, but it's not going to nearly matter as much as that second miss on the side of Italy.
Yeah, so these teams can see each other's scores in this break. France knowing that they've got about an 18,000 point lead, but Italy with a very slight combo gap, so that is combo advantage, so that gap is going to come down a little.
Just very slightly. That's going to be another miss for Hollow, though. I think that's going to even it out
Yeah,
quite
for
a
sure.
bit.
Because Kama and Waffle are both
Yeah.
back at the 200 combo already.
Now there is a pattern on the right side of the screen coming up soon, I believe, that is like you can stand still it right here, everybody deciding to wiggle it. Sometimes that pattern decides to trip a few players up. It's like, I can stand still this, but wiggling is probably safer, but wiggle, you gotta wiggle, you know? So, a bit
I
nice
like
to
the
see
idea
all-
of the pattern deciding to trip the player up like it has a conscience and it knows who it
Yeah.
wants to win or lose.
Oh man. Yeah, everybody recovering pretty well after those first few initial misses. Everybody having quite well above 200 combo.
There's probably no more than about a 10,000 point lead for Italy right now. There we
Yeah,
see
there you go.
10.5, 11,000. Real close.
Yeah, and that's not enough to be decided by spinners. I don't think Italy will throw the spinner by that much. It'll take quite a miraculous performance in a not good way to be able to throw a spin lead by 11,000 points. But I think there probably will be at least 1 or 2 more misses towards the end of this map, and that could definitely swing the favor in one team's advantage. Now, I also think that 10,000 points is enough to get overcome if a team decides to miss on this last slider that's pretty challenging. Could very much happen that one of the Italians miss on the farther slider, I think maybe 1100, 1200 combo, and that might be enough to be able to turn the score right at the very end of the map. Slider should be coming up relatively soon, right here. Everybody hits it, and it's looking like Italy are going to be securing this one unless something drastic in these last few minutes happen. It's always possible. And that is it. Italy are going to win this one by just the thinnest of margins. That's only 12,000 points. Man. Hollow only missed 3 times. There's only 2 misses on the side of Italy, and that's just how close these matches are going to be between these two teams.
We've seen a lot of the games go this way, where there's some kind of nerves at the beginning and players like struggle a little bit, and then they take a deep breath, and then they just nail the rest of the map like it's nothing. So that's 4 break points in a row, if I'm not mistaken. 2 on each side. No one has won their own pick yet.
And honestly, that just goes to show the complete volatility of this match. I think volatility is just the perfect word for something like this. It's like, these maps are so coin flippy for both of these teams because they're just so much better than the map pool kind of suggests at this round, that like you can lose each of these maps by 1 miss, and that's just all it takes. 1 miss, 1 bad RNG miss, and you just lost. And that's going to show how these picks are going, with all 4 of them being breakpoints. It's like neither team are truly going to be advantaged for any of these maps, I feel.
So Italy to pick next, and the timer has started to elapse a little bit more than in the previous rounds. We saw teams picking very quickly for the first 2 picks each. Now we're starting to take a little bit longer. Some more thinking is having to go into it because of their safety concerns and some of the comfort picks, or, I mean, I say comfort picks, but both teams have lost their first 2 picks. But
yeah, at this point you start to second guess yourself. It's like, were we really strong on that map? You know? It's like, were we really going to win that one? Even though you got like 4 breakpoints in a row, we're actually going to be seeing Nomad 4 on the side of Italy. This is going to be more the traditional jump map that everybody thinks of when you see a jump map. It's going to be the 108 BPM, just big left-right kind of jump map. A little bit different compared to the last one, which is going to be 1-4 jumps. This is going to be 1/2 jumps. It's a bit longer at 4 minutes 14 seconds, but that's not a problem for these 2 teams.
yeah, a little bit different in that both teams will think, okay, then there are different sets of skills involved and we have the players that can compete for those. But similar enough from Italy's perspective, I think, that they can say, well, okay, we won that one by like a fairly small margin. This one is similar, but maybe we feel that we're a little bit more consistent on this type of map, so if we won that one, then we should win this one as well.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Mind you, that logic hasn't applied to nearly anything so far, so we might just be talking complete nonsense.
Quite possibly. But yeah,
Hollow suggesting play the map with 0% music.
Yeah. The song, you definitely have to have an acquired taste for this type of music, and a lot of players kind of bit of a vibe song, you could say, and some players, when you're in a high stress situation, like they just like, oh my gosh, I can't be bothered to listen to something that's like this chill and relaxing for 4 minutes and be this tense. It's like 2 colliding worlds just mixing with each other, and like, it's painful.
Well, painful for the players, but obviously fantastic for us to see, and we hope you're all enjoying watching. Coming into game number 5. And just a reminder before we get underway to anyone who's just tuned in, this is a winner's bracket match, round of 16, so both of these teams won't be eliminated no matter who loses. One will drop down to the loser's bracket. And both teams have lost their opening pick, so all 4 of the points that we see on screen right now are break points. So these 2 teams very evenly matched right now.
Armor 79 finding a really early miss. That's something that you would probably never really see. Something, he's probably just laughing to himself right now. He's like, oh my gosh, how did I miss something like that? You know, I think Armor's that kind of guy, is like not really getting frustrated, but he's like kind of laughing at himself. He's like, man, I don't know how I missed that. But it definitely has to be a little painful.
Yeah, as one of the longest maps in the pool, obviously outside of the tiebreaker, early misses like that are not hugely impactful in the grand scheme of things, provided, of course, everyone else doesn't FC the map.
Yeah, and honestly though, the thing is, with this match, I was just about to say we could see it triple FC, but Hollow does get a miss from the side of France. It's going to be after the 200 mark, but Armor trades it really fast. So the advantage for France is still going to be there by about maybe half a miss, and that's going to probably bring it to a full miss with Armor's third miss of the map. I don't know what's kind of getting into him. Maybe he's just not prepared for some map like this. I don't know, usually you think of Armor and he's like, this guy is the premier jump player out of all of Catch. But it seems like he's having a bit of a hard time today on this kind of map.
There was almost a miss there from Sir Waffle. He kind of dashed across to that little 5-note horizontal stream and barely caught the first one with the left edge of the platter. But hey, doesn't matter how you keep combo as long as you keep the combo.
Exactly, you can miss every droplet, you know? If you miss every drop of map, it's not gonna matter as much as breaking a single combo. That's just how Scorpio 2 works in Catch. Combo above 200 is really important. As long as you hold it, then you're fine. And everybody else, except for Armor and Hollow, holding the triple SS, or the 4-way SS between all of them.
Yeah, unlike some of the previous maps we've seen, slider, kind of funky slider shapes and like high slider velocities, not too common. This is definitely more of just a kind of for a jump from simple pattern into simple pattern, but the spacing is really the kicker here.
Yep. No life finding a miss right as the course here starts. That's gonna even it out quite a bit. I think that's gonna bring it to just about even between these two teams. Now, a miss in this map isn't worth that much, but that's going to be really painful. Both Arma and Kame, the two rocks for the side of Italy, getting misses in the middle of this chorus. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, that was a really interesting miss going back there to No Life. He kind of dashed from the far left back into the right and stopped like halfway between the two notes. I'm not sure, did he think that was a hyper dash and he was like going to get pushed all the way to the note and then just didn't try to keep holding the dash? That was very strange.
But you know, they got a lead, and it's going to be about a 2-miss gap right here for the side of France. And getting 2 misses on this very end of the map, they know that they're up by about 2 misses, 60,000 points on something like this. It's going to be about 2 misses. As you see from No Life score compared to T-Tobus' score, you see about a gap of 29,000. That's going to be about 2 misses at 229,000 together. You actually might have a spin advantage for the side of France. So even if France do get 2 individual misses very soon, even might just still be on their side just due to the spins. Hollow gets the first
one of the 2 misses.
Yeah. Now you just need another one really fast because the map is ending very soon. There's only about maybe 150 combo left, I think, maybe 200 max. You're gonna need more than 1 miss at this point. You're gonna need 2, and it's looking really, really grim for the side of Italy on this map. And at this point, coming into the final seconds, that's just about gonna secure it. And I think that's gonna be the 5th breakpoint, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. Yeah, that was Italy's pick, No Mod 4. So France taking the 3-2 lead. These teams trading points. Really, really good performance there from Tobus and Sir Waffle, holding strong. And very similar misses, just 1 miss difference with Armor relative to Hollow. And that was what decided it in the end.
Yeah, I also want to point out, look at the scores between T-Tobus and Sir Waffle. That's a 4,000 point difference on just spins. And having that much of a point difference between spins, that's like, what? 3 bananas is approximately 1,000 points. If you have 4,000 gap, that's like, what? 13 spins? 12, 13 spin bananas difference? Yeah. That's huge.
That gives you, as France, I think, a lot more confidence to go into some of the easier no mods, like no mod 1 and 2, which are obviously the only ones left, thinking that, yeah, it doesn't matter if everyone FCs because we'll outspin.
I think that is definitely something that France has another advantage on. We haven't really talked about it much, but France, I think, are definitely the better spin team compared to Italy. Italy not having the best of spins compared to all the top 8, top 16 teams. They're definitely able to compete with some of the teams, but it's honestly hard to compete with France. France are being one of probably the top 8 teams on spins. You see T-Tobus with that spin right there. He's just really, really good at spins. Usually the old players are good at spins.
So France deciding to round out the mixed mod pool, our second and only mixed mod, Egret and Willow. So this is more like what we expected, like Italy's start to be on mixed mod, and they obviously this was their first pick, very confident with that. France deciding, well, this is a convert and it's more our speed.
You know, also looking at the side of Italy, their roster here is quite interesting. And now this is something that you probably wouldn't think of at first glance, but it actually works out very well if you think about it deeply. We have vv1494423738, SirWaffle79, and Kame79. This is going to mean Kame is going to be on the hidden, Vito is going to be on the hard rock, and SirWaffle is going to be on the nomad, and that's honestly completely fine. Even though you don't have Arma, who's probably, actually definitely one of your top 2 players on the side of Italy, this roster completely works out. Vito being a hard rock player, Kame being able to take the shoes of the hidden player, and then SirWaffle, I think, probably being more consistent on a nomad pick like this than Arma is. So I think it's a good move on the side of Italy to bring out this roster in particular.
Well, SirWaffle did just SS the last nomad pick, so I
Yeah.
think it's pretty sensible throwing him there on that nomad. Totobus filling that hard rock slot as he did exceptionally well in Mixed Mod 1. Boros going to be coming back into hidden as well, and No Life, the no mod convert player, doing no mod convert things.
Yeah, and something that is also going to be interesting to point out is that Totobus, he hasn't missed on any round stage map yet. He's FC'd all the maps that he's played past qualifiers, 8 out of 8. And now this one is probably going to be the more challenging one for him to FC. He's playing the hard rock on the mixed mod. He FC'd the last one with hard rock on the mixed mod. This one's going to be just as challenging. We see Boros coming in with the first miss, No Life following up very shortly after.
Yeah, Tobus out for that number 1 performance ranking. He was second in the round of 32 behind only Molkus from Japan. So he's going to go one better this time, perhaps with this performance for sure. Definitely a contender. It's going to be Italy with the early advantage here though, after those early misses from Boros and No Life. No Life back at 200 combo now, so it's going to be stabilized at about an 80,000 point gap. This isn't a hugely long map, we're already halfway through.
Yeah, and the thing about this is it only takes 2 misses to be able to come back from the side of Italy, because I believe Boros missed before that 200 combo mark, and you also have the fact that it is not the hard rock player who missed on the side of France. So France have a feeling that their hard rock player is still FCing, which is pretty good, but you still need 2 more misses from the side of Italy. If vv1494423738 or either SirWaffle or Kame miss, and that's going to be the first miss right there from Vito. That's going to be more impactful than either of the misses on the side of France due to the hard rock mod providing a 1.12 multiplier. We still need maybe 1 more.
Yeah, I don't think that on its own is going to change too much because we are coming very close to the end. Vito missed a huge chunk of notes there, but on their own, not too much of a problem as long as he maintains his combo now.
There we have.
There we go.
It's only 3 misses between all the players. vv1494423738 finding 4 misses, but those are all on the same pattern, so essentially just 1 miss right there. That's 3 misses on a mixed mod map. That's insane.
Yeah, Tobus again, double S. SirWaffle again, double S. Kama joining in the fun this time as well. So can we count to 6? That's 6 breakpoints in a row. No team has won their own pick yet, and we're kind of running out of maps now. Remember, this is best of 11, so first to 6. Both teams halfway towards that victory that they so desperately desire. What do we got left on the board? 2 no mods, both specifics. We got 2 hiddens, also both specifics. A hard rock, lots of double times, no double time been picked, and the 1 double time ban from Italy so far. Mixed mod, done, gone. No more mixed mod. Both of those picks taken off the table.
You know, the crazy thing I think about this is you look at the maps that both of these teams have picked, and you've been realizing that they've only lost by 1 miss on most of them, right? 1 or 2 misses has pretty much been the highest gap, except for that one map where I think France won by 200,000 points. But you look at the maps they picked mostly the harder maps to FC, and they're still FCing them. You come to things like DT1, DT2, Nomad 1, Nomad 2, these maps are a lot easier to get 3-way FCs on than Mixed Mod or Hard Rock or even Hidden 3. So you get to the point where it's like, it's just gonna get closer. And you see,
Yeah, then we see it
Italy,
again.
yeah, coming in with DT4. This is another one of those maps where I think nerves are going to get these players a lot. The movement on this map is really, really finicky, where if you move a little bit too much or a little bit too little, you're gonna miss.
I think both teams have kind of psyched themselves out of picking the comfort picks, because they're like, we're picking the hardest maps possible because we think we're better, but they're still so close and there's almost nothing that can separate them. And if I'm any of the players in this lobby right now, and I'm thinking like, even the hard maps are a coin flip, so like the easy maps are obviously going to be a coin flip. And because we've lost so many break points, like none of us have won our own pick, they're not going to be feeling as confident to play those comfort picks. They're going to be psyching themselves out, and the longer it goes, the perceivably harder those easy picks become.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Remember, this is only round of 16 that these two titans of a team are facing off on. It's absolutely astonishing that these two teams get to face each other so early, and that is just how the seedings work this year. These teams being seed 8 and 9, and there's always going to be the close match of the week. And that's these two teams this week. We see Electro coming in for the first time this match, I believe, to be able to play DT number 4.
Yeah, first time we've seen DT from either of these teams. DT3 was banned by Italy, and the other 3 had remained fairly unconsidered until now. All of the other mod brackets have at least had some action in them. So neither team really has any info on immediate strengths or weaknesses of the opponents on this particular mod. This will be the first time we'll get to see. And if this kind of swings wildly in one direction or the other, we may see the other team just go, okay, drop whatever plan we were going to do, we're picking double time now.
Yeah, Sir Waffle getting the first miss at about 120 combo is a bit worrisome. This intro of the map is a lot harder than the second half of the map. You'd probably see most of the misses in this map coming in the first 500 combo. So it's not that much to worry about just yet. I think if France do have 3-way FC coming out of the first 500-600 combo, that's when you start to worry a bit, because the second half is definitely a lot easier than this first half. Here we go at the break. They're going to see that they're up by quite a bit, but they know that if they miss once, then it's going to flip right back over. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's that 35,000 point gap as you come to halfway, as you said. Everyone's built up a combo really nicely after that, so the score gap staying pretty much as is.
So Waffle actually had a quite subpar spin, I believe, as well as Kame. You look at the spins here, you see that Arma had a really good spin on that. This one is going to be a bit of a longer one as well. Just gotta kind of compare the scores and see how much of a difference that spin might make. It probably won't matter, considering Sir Waffle missed before 200, but it could definitely matter in the end. Everybody is just holding so strong here. It's like so close. You're getting to the point where there's not that much combo left in the map. You're gonna have to see maybe 2 misses from the side of France to be able to pull it back to the Italian side. And here into the ending, there's not much missed opportunity, and we're gonna be seeing the first triple FC of the match, I believe, on the side of France here. And man, Italy lost their pick right there by just 1 miss in the intro. One miss.
So this is good for France because it means that they are kind of performing really well at double time. But if I'm France and I see that I only won by 1 miss, I'm probably going to hesitate trying to replicate that on another double time immediately. So once again, another mod bracket has been put in that gap of this could be a coin flip that goes either way.
Yeah. And at this point, it's honestly looking super likely that we get to that tiebreaker. Is these teams, they just keep trading their pick over and over again. And yeah, I think this is a great pick from the side of France. They realize, okay, we're slightly more consistent And I think Nomad 2 is the map you want to go to if you feel like you're more consistent.
I think it's probably the easiest map in the pool.
Yeah.
I think probably
I would
say.
definitely agree. I think this map also provides for a slight spinner difference as well between the two teams. I think this map has one of the easier spins between the remaining maps, but it's still definitely enough to be able to catch a team off guard. The spin at the end of the map is one of those spins that most catch players realize at this point, and they see the patterning and they're like, okay, I need to move this way, and then I'll be able to catch the full spin. And I think all these players know at this point how to catch that spin. It's just about actually doing it. And that might be disadvantageous for the side of France, considering the Italians are not the best at spins, but something like the spin on this map could very much be replicatable on a max spin for the Italians, even though they're not the best spinners. They've played this type of spin many times. Now we're going to be seeing very similar rosters for both of the teams right now. All coming in with their strong consistency players. I think Electro probably getting in there for possibly spins this map. I really hate saying that we have to worry about the spins, but with the amount of skill both of these teams have shown, it's just you have to worry about the spins at this point. 6-way FC is very possible. We saw with the last map only one single miss, and this map is definitely much easier.
At this point, both teams have kind of thrown everything at each other and found that there's very little difference. So trying to win a kind of consistency spinner battle might really be the only thing left that separates the two teams.
Yeah, for sure.
So to people asking, if the map is a tie, then they replay the same map, and they keep replaying it until there is no longer a tie.
Think for that, because we will not probably be seeing a tie on this one. We have two very early misses on the side of Electro and Nazco, followed up by Kame, and that's honestly, I did not expect that at all. This map is so many times easier than the last map that they played, and they already have 3 times the amount of misses in the first 200 combo.
I think sometimes something about a map being easier can psych you out a little bit, because you're like, oh, I shouldn't miss, so I can try and relax. But
Sure.
That kind of makes you more nervous, more tense.
Now there is going to be a very slight advantage for the side of Italy. I think it is about 10,000 points that we see advantage. It's not going to be enough to be recouped by the final spinner. The final spinner is very short. Yeah, we see it's going to be about 11,500 points. It's going to be just about a miss, maybe with, I think, 50 combo remaining. Should be able to swing it. Nobody getting tripped up by that section right before this course. At this point, we're kind of staring down the 8th breakpoint for the match.
Yeah, none of the players struggling with that little burst section at the end there. Once again, another breakpoint, another pick decided by, well, one miss, effectively. The 2-1 misses on the side of France being beaten out by just a single miss from Kame on the side of Italy. And we're at 8 breakpoints in a row, 4 games apiece, and they only get 1 pick each left.
Yeah, and you can see Kame in the chat, he's like, I missed at 100 combo, I thought we lost, you know, and that just goes to show how much these teams know the other is that good. It's like, if you can say, oh man, I just missed in the start of the map, I think we lost, that's, like, insane.
Really shows the character of being able to hold for the rest of the map, though, in trusting that your teammates will FC and that maybe your opponent will also miss.
Yeah. Oh man. at this point, I don't know what map you even go for. Like, hidden? That's the only thing that I could see being more than a one miss between these two teams. I think these two teams are so strong at both Nomad 1, DT1, DT2, Hard Rock 2 that you're just fighting on spinners and RNG misses. But with Hidden 1 and Hidden 2, I don't think these teams are confident in their own ability to be able to pick those, and that's why they haven't been picked throughout this whole match. Could possibly
Yeah, I think Hidden is certainly not a weakness for both, but it's not their strong suit by far.
Yeah, and by not strong suit, we mean, oh, we're not going to get a triple FC, we're probably going to miss once or twice more than average. That's what
that
we
does
mean
show
by
how
average.
strong these teams are.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing Italy picking Hard Rock 2. This is probably the best pick for them, I believe. The ending is a bit hard to be able to play, and they might be just banking on the fact that, you know, one of the French members get nervous, or they kind of misread the ending, which is very, very possible to do. This ending is very cool.
Taking a little while to get into this one. Not quite sure what's holding us up.
You know, I see some French in the chat, and I see Boros. De Boros. So maybe that means Boros might be coming in, not sure. I used to know a little bit of French, but now not nearly as much. Seems like we are going to be
Did
getting
5
that.
years of
every start.
French at school, but you don't use it and you lose it sadly, and I haven't used it in a long time.
You know, I'm pretty much the same. I did like 7-8 years, and then it just kind of slips away. Gotta hope that it doesn't slip away for the French players on this as well, because this is tough. It's a 4-4 scoreline right now. They're coming in on Italy's pick. Every single match has been a breakpoint. So realistically, or theoretically, this should be France's point to win based off of all we've seen so far, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, based on our predictions at the start, we should have probably learned by now to just trust our eyes and not trust the statistics. Because the whole rulebook has been thrown out the window so far with this one.
Now, all these players are hitting the hard rock patterns, the kind of deformed streams in the intro of the map very well. Everybody holding an SS at this point. Now, this slow section could definitely trip up a few players, but I think all these players are so experienced with AR-10 reading that it's not going to trip them up, really. And at this point, everything is just completely tied. You can see that scoreboard. It's just moving back and forth. It's like hopping borders pretty much right now. It's like, I don't know which team's gonna win. And that's honestly so scary. Only a single droplet miss at this point could swing the whole thing.
About a quarter of the map still to go, and everyone looking so strong.
It's really just gonna come down to this ending, isn't it? Oh man. You actually do see a drop in this on the side of Vito and Electro. Armor gets a miss on the ending.
No.
And that's
The
gonna be it.
breakpoint
That's gonna
script
be.
continues.
Oh. Hollow forgot about the ending right there.
Oh, Hollow got
Could have
trolled by
been
that
very
last
bad for
slider.
him. Dude, imagine if they had the 6-way FC and then he forgot about the notes at the end and then they lost because. Oh my gosh, I don't even want
I've
to think about
seen
that.
plenty of people in practicing this pool miss that slider entirely, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
happened. It's happened on the stream in the match.
Oh man. But yeah, you can see on that map, they had a 6-way FC for every single player until 812 combo. This map's only 839 combo long. That's, man.
They're a bit unfortunate. Probably not feeling too good if you're Veto, but I think that's just par for the course with how this match has gone so far. Shouldn't be too beaten up by that. So, 9 breakpoints in a row. France to pick next, and I think we're all hoping that this continues in its current fashion. 5-all, tiebreaker time. I did say I just wanted to see these two play as many maps as possible, and they've done a pretty good job for me so far.
If we break the breakpoint script at this point, man, that'll be depressing. Right as we're going into the tiebreaker possibilities.
We'll have many angry complaints.
Oh yeah.
Hidden one. Ooh, interesting.
Now this is going to be probably the best decider map out of all the remaining ones in my opinion. This is the map that I think France might have been saving it for this time, really. I think both teams really didn't want to pick this. Yeah, you can see Kame in the chat is like, not like this, man. Not hidden. Not lower yard hidden. Burrows is like, please get it over with. This is stressful.
I think neither team was planning to pick this at all, but also didn't want to ban it. They were just hoping it would kind of sit there unused and unnecessary. But if there's anything that's going to separate these two teams, I agree with you, then it has to be this.
Yeah, for sure. On the side of Italy, we do see Sakhalin coming in. That is something that you do expect for the lower R. And if you're a French player at this point, I think you're kind of saying, we might have a chance here to be able to pick up our own pick.
Oh, here we go then. Game number 10, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and the
The
thing is,
final pick.
Sakhalin has probably been playing this map for the past 53 minutes, just preparing, because he knows this
My
is his
time
map.
has come.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you have one job, this is your job, pretty much.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Your team, everybody in this lobby has been FCing everything until now, no pressure. There's actually going to be a super early miss on his side though within the first like 5 combo. I don't think that'll matter at all. This map is definitely a bit harder for both of these two teams due to skill sets, as we are going to see 2 more misses between Sakhalin and Electro. Followed up quickly with another one. That's going to swing it just inside of Italy's favor right here. Ooh, Boro finds a miss on that little bursty section right there. That's going to be really bad for them.
Yeah, you can see that little blue bar creeping up slowly.
No life last
missing
FC.
now, yeah. No FCs remaining on the side of France. Italy got a pretty commanding score lead right now.
You know, maybe this is why they didn't pick it. Maybe they were hoping that, yeah, we're not the best on this, but maybe Italy's just a little bit worse. And it's honestly seeming like that is not the case. Both Arma and Kame coming in with 2 FCs. Sakhalin finds another miss, but it's not really going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things. As long as the 2 rocks of Italy, both Arma and Kame, can hold, then it's looking pretty good for the side of the Italians.
Yeah, the score difference at about nearly 100,000 right now, I think. And that's going to come down slightly with Sakhalin still building back up to 200 combo. But there are still multiple misses that would need to be suffered from the Italian players in order to let France back into this one with about a third of the map still to go.
Yeah, probably about 2 and maybe a fourth of a miss. That's one of the 2 misses right there. And that's going to even it out a little bit more, but they're going to need a few more. I think this section is pretty free for most of these players. You might get moving too early, and that's exactly what happened for Arma. Oh no, this is gonna get really close, isn't it? Boros gets another miss, Electro gets another miss. It's not gonna get as close as I thought it would. And man,
Electro and Boros really starting to struggle a little bit now. You can see Boros down below 99% AC. Arma and
It's a double
Sakura both
miss.
going to drop, but Kama is still at 800 combo. No Life has recovered really nicely, but there he does drop as
there he
well.
goes.
Oh, it's all falling apart for France.
No. But you know what that means, JBH.
It means tiebreaker time.
Oh yeah. Man, I don't even want to think about how close the tiebreaker is going to be between these two teams. Hidden was like the last opportunity to see like multiple misses, I think, between a map, between these two teams. And then we're just gonna go straight into the tiebreaker after this. About a 200,000 point gap, favoring Italy right there. Now it's all tied up, 5-5. Every team winning each other's picks, all of them.
Yeah,
Now what
if you look at
happens
the
if a team doesn't
scoreline, if you look at the scoreline right now, you're thinking like, well, why didn't Italy just pick Hidden if they're going to win by 300,000? Because that's like convincingly the largest score difference I think we've seen in the whole match. And yeah, maybe like they should have picked Hidden earlier, but it was such a risk. Like both teams not really thinking that Hidden was their strength. Both kind of, you first. No, you're better. No, you're better. But yeah, it's gone all the way. 5 breakpoints on both sides, 10 in total. No team winning a single pick, and we're going to see extra mode.
See what happens when neither team picks a map. You know, these teams have been winning each other's picks, but what happens if neither of them pick? That's the real question here. Who do you think's gonna take it out on top? Show some support for Italy if you want the Italians to win. Show some support for France if you want the French players to win. Man, it has been a great match so far.
So before this match started, I would have maybe slightly given France the edge in a consistency battle, but there's been so little to pick between the two teams this match.
Yeah, honestly, I'd agree with you that I think France, I said it in our little prediction stream that was a few days ago. I think if this match went to tiebreaker, I think France has the edge, but anything's possible. Like these edges that we're talking about, they're like less than a percent edge, pretty much. These teams are like dead even, essentially. There's less edge from player skill on this map pool than there is nerves. Nerves is pretty much all of the edge that is happening between these maps, I think. And I don't think there's that much of a better song or map that this could end on. This map and song are just so good. Thank you to Great Korean Dave for making this great map. Hopefully it'll enter the rank selection soon. I believe getting qualified shortly after this weekend. That just goes to show how great these maps are.
It's on my to-do list for certain.
Oh yeah. And it just goes to show these guys are going to have either the best time or the worst time playing this, depending on which side of the end you come out of, you know. Either going to be really great or not so great, depending on if you win or lose.
Yeah, so this is winners bracket, so the loser won't be sent home. They'll remain in the losers bracket, but neither team wants to be in the losers bracket. Like right now, both of these teams, I think, definitely deserve to, with the performance they put in today, for certain, go on in the winners bracket. But unfortunately, only one of them can, and this is how we're going to decide it.
Hope we get to see a little break coming soon. I want to see who actually had the advantage on the spinner. Score is flickering quite a bit, so I don't really know how. We do see Sir Waffle missing a dropper. That might matter. Probably not, but I would not put it past these teams. It's happened a few times where one team sees and then the other team gets maybe 1 or 2 misses. That's probably what I'd expect from something like this with these two teams. Oh man. You see a little bit of lag coming in, but it's not going to matter that much. It's only visual. Nothing's happening to the players. Every player holding strong at about 500 combo. Do see 2 droplet misses on the side of Natsuko.
Yeah, just one on the side of Sir Waffle, but I think France must have had a better early spin because it looks like they've got a very slender lead. That score bar not quite flickering as much as we have seen.
Natsuko's actually missing a lot of droplets. I think he's missed maybe 4 or 5 at this point. There's another spin right there. I think that one definitely went in the side of France. Sir Waffle does find the first miss on the side of Italy though on these little kind of tight patterns. That's actually a triple miss on the side of Italy. No!
That is huge bad news for Italy right there. Still plenty to play for in the map, but this like kind of section of notes right here as we see a miss from Natsuko, this is a pattern that comes up very often in some of the later chorus sections, the little key eye bursts. So missing on that now is a serious like block on your mental because you know that pattern's going to come up again as Sir Waffle finds another drop.
Yeah, so that's going to bring it to about a 3 miss advantage for the side of Italy, or for the side of France. Which means France are going to need to miss about 3 times to be able to bring it back to even for the scoreline. And honestly, France is one of those teams. Give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And Titobus, this guy hasn't missed a map on a map yet, ever since qualifiers. So I don't think he's going to be missing anytime soon, if I'm being honest. And at that point, it's just up to Electro and Natsuko to be able to hold on to this combo that both of them have. Everybody on the side of Italy and France building up their combos relatively well. Electro and Titobus both with the SS's. Now this is actually not a break, even though that was a little bit of a pause. It wasn't a break, so teams didn't see how each other is doing. That's going to be huge on the mental.
Yeah, France have to be feeling fairly confident with just Natsuko having that one miss. Kame is going to drop there again. It's extending the score lead in favor of France. Waffle going down as well. This is running away in France's direction.
Yeah, that's 5 misses that need to be made up. And that's... I don't know if that's going to be able to happen. It's going to be coming down to the wire, but it's like... Oh man, that's a huge miss from Electro though. That's going to only bring it down to 4 more that France needs to find for Italy to be able to come back in this one.
But Tobus at 2,000 combo now. Nothing is stopping this man.
Oh yeah, this guy has been the rock of the French team for... I don't even know how long it is, but it's long. That's all you need to know. This guy has been literally like the icon of French CTB for years and years. And here he is when they need him the most. Being able to SS this tiebreaker all the way to 2200 at this point. Man.
Time is running out for Italy here, and it doesn't look like France are going to make too many mistakes. Italy certainly have not played badly, but France's consistency has been on point when it mattered the most. Unless there's a serious stamina drain towards the end here that just causes someone to completely fall over, this is looking like a French victory.
And they all have no fill. This is going to be the map. Electro and Kame do trade a miss at the very end, but it's not going to matter. The only thing we're looking at now is can Titobus finish it off with the SS? Electro gets one more small miss at the end. Doesn't matter, like we said before. Sir Waffle gets another one. All we're looking at right now is Titobus, and I think that's it. He does get the SS on the tiebreaker. That is going to be the win for France. Only just a few misses between each team. Electro only had about 4 misses individually. Natsuko had 1 miss. Arma, Kame, and Sir Waffle all finding more than 1 miss. Man, that is such a great match between these two juggernaut teams that you can't even compare it to any other match. Titobus FC'd everything in this match. He also FC'd everything in the last match that he had. If this guy isn't #1 on the stat sheet for best player this week, I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, there's still like another day and a half's worth of performances. We could see someone else pop off and put up a performance.
This guy played like every map and FC.
You've said quite often that like a lot of the 2 scores, even on the losing team, are better than a lot of the matches, the scores that we're going to see so far this weekend. Yeah, and I have to agree. Sure. Both teams have played out of their minds. So there you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Team France remaining in the winners bracket going into the quarterfinals. Italy losing but not being eliminated just yet. This is a double elimination tournament, so they'll survive into the losers bracket next week, and they'll be able to hopefully lick their wounds and pick themselves back up. But again, congratulations to France.
Yeah, honestly, super well done for them. Titobis with the FC on the tiebreak again. I just want to point out how incredible Titobis played, and honestly, all the members of France and Italy played this match. It's by far, probably one of the closest matchups that we have had in the Catch World Cup's history, I think. And just to show, every single point win on that match was a break point. I don't know how many
every
times
single
we
one.
ever see that.
No team won their own pick, and I think apart from the very first and the very last pick, nothing was lost or won by more than, I want to say, like 40,000 points.
Jeez. Yeah, it's honestly insane. But coming up to our next match, Canada-Russia. And if there's any match I think that could take a candle up to that last match that we just saw, it might be this one. This one's going to be in approximately 2.5 hours from now, 18:30 UTC. Don't forget to miss it. We're going to be back right when that one is going to be starting, and it's going to be a great one.
Yep, so as was said, we're going to take a little bit of a break now because there's a long time between these two matches. So do set your alarms, make sure to follow the channel and follow us on Twitter as well, OS Live, and you'll get notified of when the stream goes live and of course when future matches are being played. If you have a few bucks to spare and you want to help support your favorite team and give back to the prize pool, help make World Cups awesome, please do consider buying a banner from the store for your favorite team. All 32 teams currently still in the tournament can be supported in this way, and they look very, very cool. But for now, I think that'll be it from myself, JB Hyperion, and Seka.
Yeah, that's going to be it for now. We'll see you in approximately 2.5 hours. Thank you guys for watching. Don't miss it.